Holy shit, we're live. Let's see if people can hear me during this brief intermission time. Am I audible? Let's see. Loud and clear. Well, in that case, hello, people. Hello, hello, hello. So, thank you for being here. I have quite the show for you today, and it is involving a cataclysmic dumpster fire that's been happening on Twitter because Slice of Arcane made the mistake of making a video critiquing Sacred, and that was bound to ruffle up some fucking feathers and shit. So, yeah. So I was there doing my shiznit this morning, doing my thing, and my phone was buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. I think I burned 20% of my battery with all the buzzing that was going around on Twitter. And that was because Sacred was DMing me to get involved because Slice of Arcane was saying unkind things about Sacred's moderation. So Slice of Arcane was being kind of meanish, I guess, to Sacred. And so Sacred and Slice of Arcane got into a tussle. And now I'm here to talk about the tussle. Siggy for $6.66. Happy birthday, Reds. Hail Sagan. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I am officially one more year closer to death. Oh, boy. Death comes for us all. Time does not stop. It takes no prisoners. Thank you very much, Siggy. I very much appreciate it. So anyway, getting back on the subject. So, long story short, Slice of Arcane made a video critiquing the moderation that Sacred did for my debate with Ban Notice. If you guys would like to see that debate, it is listed on my YouTube channel in the live section. So you can go there and watch it, and you can see for yourself how that debate went and whether or not Sacred did a good job in your opinion. Again, it's all there in full. So yeah, go ahead and watch that if you so choose. But let me go ahead and get into the actual steak and potatoes of this live stream. And again, thank you very much for being here. So Sacred is upset at the criticisms that were given in Sly's video. Sacred believes that they weren't fair, especially when you take into account what I said at the very end of the debate, that I had no notes, that I thanked Sacred for his moderation, and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I was giving Sacred praise, and how could I not call out Slice of Arcane on his criticisms when I was the one giving Sacred praise? So I should be like, no, Slice of Arcane, you are wrong. Sacred did a fantastic job, and go fuck yourself for making those fucking critiques, you piece of shit. So yeah, that kind of thing. So that's where we are. And instead of having a pissing contest on Twitter about it, I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to make a live stream so we can talk about it. So I'm not really going to be showing much in this live stream. So if you guys just want to listen in the background and do other shit, there's not going to be that many visuals. So let's go ahead and get on into it. To answer a super chat right here for $3.33, C3PH hole. Here is some preparation H for Sacred. Ooh, spicy. People are already coming with the games, and they're Sacred. So thank you very much for joining Sacred. So let's go ahead and get on into some notes. So to start off with, what did I think about Slice of Arcane's video? I think Slice of Arcane did a fantastic job. I think his video was very easy to understand. I think it was straightforward. It was to the point, and he made a lot of good criticisms of Sacred and his moderation. However, the criticisms that Sly Sparkane is making is within a different context than when I was praising Sacred for his moderation. And I'm going to get into that as we proceed further. But to state bluntly, I have no problem with Sly Sparkane's video, none whatsoever. So if Sacred came here expecting me to shit on Sly Sparkane's video, I'm sorry. He's going to be very, very saddened to hear that I'm not going to do that. So let's go ahead and start off with the first point I want to make. After reading through all of the Twitter exchanges and the back and forth and the blah, 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 and basically the cataclysmic dumpster fire that was the reply section underneath Sly Sparkane's original tweet. So, note to Sacred. Sacred, I do not control what people think of your moderation. I do not control the criticisms that they give you. And I have zero desire to silence them in their criticisms of you. I know you like to call my followers and my subscribers my minions, as if to say that I control them, but I don't. Let me make this very, very clear. I'm a fucking nobody. I hold no power over anybody. If I have done anything positive in the stream, it is to inform people that congratulations, you're free. I don't control you. I don't control your moves, your thoughts, what you say, who you bang. If you want to be a freaking sell it on the weekend, it's none of my business. If you want to get absolutely wasted, it's none of my business. If you just want to rail a line of cocaine and go fucking ape, that's none of my business. I don't control you. I can't tell you what to do, where to do it. It's none of my business. It really isn't. So, Sacred, a tip from the top, I don't control what people say about you. I don't control people's opinions. And just because people have subscribed to my YouTube channel, just because people follow me on Twitter, that doesn't mean that they are waiting on my every word or hinging what they're going to do next on my every word. Basically, they are their own person, and that's the way it's going to be. I have no desire to control anybody. So if they have a genuine criticism of you, that's not my doing. I was there to do a debate. That's what I did. That's where my involvement ends. And the aftermath is for everyone else to get involved. So that's when everyone else is going to come in and say, okay, this part of the debate was good. That part of the debate was bad. And once again, I have no control over that. So Sacred, if you come to me in my DMs and you say, yo, you better control your boy there or tell him to pipe down or whatever the fuck the verbiage is, there's nothing I can do, Sacred. I'm sorry. There's really, really nothing I can do. So you're kind of on your own with that one. I'm not going to tell people what to do, what to say, and that kind of thing. They're on their own with that. And this leads me to the second thing I want to say on that. I did not tell Sly Sparkane to make that video. Just in case there was any lingering doubt there, I did not tell Sly Sparkane to make that video. I was not involved in its creation or its content whatsoever. So yeah, that was entirely on him, and I had zero control over its creation, just so that we're clear. Again, I don't control people, never have, and I never will. So Sacred, as a request, I'm going to request that you stop referring to my followers, my supporters, my subscribers as my minions, because again, I don't control them. I am a fucking nobody from Florida, and I'm pretty sure they're smart enough to know that. I film rockets every now and then, and I debunk flat earth on the internet. It's not, I mean, I'm not exactly hitting superstar status over here. You know, I'm pretty sure that people would walk by me on the street and not give two fucks in a shit, and rightfully so. I'm a nobody, and I quite like it. I quite like it like that. You know, it makes life more quiet. So, moving on to the second thing I want to bring up. So, Sacred wanted me to comment on the fact that I had no notes at the end of the debate because Sacred did ask, do you have any criticisms of me? Is there anything I did wrong? And blah, blah, blah. And basically, the long and short of it is I said, I am completely satisfied. I have no notes. And Sacred made mention of this in response to other people having criticisms of him and his moderation. Saying that he was too, let's say, animated, as if it was a fucking WrestleMania WWE pay-per-view event. I mean, I understand that. He is very animated. He is very animated, but he's trying to be entertaining. So I guess cut him some slack for that. I mean, we try to be entertaining here. We try to be fun here, and if he's trying to do that himself, yes, there's a time and a place for it, and maybe that wasn't the most appropriate time and place, but still, I understood where he was getting at. So as far as him being animated, WWE ringside type of commentary, I don't give a fuck. I really, really don't give a fuck. If people have a problem with it, that's entirely on them. I'm not going to say that they're wrong, but for me personally, I don't give a shit. So yes, anyway. But to that end, going back to the no notes situation, if I had no notes and I was completely satisfied with Sacred's moderation, then why am I not calling out Sly Sparkane and others of their criticisms of Sacred and his moderation? Well, the reason I have no notes is because it was exactly what I expected. That doesn't mean that an objective person who doesn't have their bar set so low would agree with me. And now I don't want you, Sacred, to take that as an insult, and I'm going to go through this in greater detail, but just know my expectations were low going into this. I knew this going into the debate. I knew that you would let the flat earther get away with a ton of shit. And to be fair, you did. For example, you didn't call him out when he brought up numerology. Numerology can be used to explain any old bullshit. Your pattern seeking within random numbers. Let me tell you a story, Sacred. I used numerology to confirm that another flat earther had a sexual relationship with O.J. Simpson and that he was the bottom bitch. And if given enough time, I could use numerology to prove that he enjoyed every steamy, hot second of it. You want to know why? Because numerology can be forced to fit with anything. Come up with some random bullshit conclusions, add some numerology shit in there, and all of a sudden it's confirmed. So you didn't call him out when he brought up numerology, when you know as well as I do, numerology is bullshit, even whether we're on a round earth or a flat earth. Numerology is bullshit in both models. So you didn't call him out for that. You didn't call him out when he said that I was insecure in my predictions and that I was projecting those securities onto him. I would call that an ad hominem attack. Again, this is total bullshit. I am very secure in my convictions when it comes to the shape of the earth, and for him to say that and for him to just be allowed to say that when I was steamrolled after I said he was ignorant about something, which by the way is not an insult, that's just an observation. It kind of shows that you did have a lot of bias in there. Now, to be very, very clear, everyone is ignorant about something. So, for example, I'm ignorant on the Spanish language. I don't know Spanish to save my fucking life. Bonjour, I guess. I'm ignorant when it comes to the Spanish language. I'm ignorant when it comes to calculus. I can't do calculus to save my own ass. I'm ignorant when it comes to how to predict the weather. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm ignorant when it comes to matters of brain surgery. I'm not a brain surgeon. Everyone is ignorant about something. And when I said that he was ignorant about something, you said that was an ad hominem attack, but it wasn't an ad hominem attack for him to say that I was insecure about something and projecting something onto him, and that I was doing it in a very dishonest way. That was a bit of that was a bit of bullshit, if I do say so myself. You didn't call him out when he brought up satanic worship, and you and I both know that Satan, if he does exist, can fuck with people on both a round or flat Earth. Like, seriously, dude. And for my last example, you didn't call him up when he brought up Dr. Fauci. I mean, come on, bro. Bringing up anti-vax talking points during a flat Earth debate. These are just some of the examples that I could bitch about. But I didn't bitch about it during the debate, and that was a personal choice. The fact that other people chose differently from me is entirely on them. Again, the reason why I didn't bitch about it is because I personally was expecting it, and I really didn't think it was that big of a deal. Yes, I knew for a fact that the flat earther was going to get an easier time, that he was going to be allowed more bullshit than what I would be allowed. But I now this is the part where I'm going to defend you a little bit, Sacred. That's not a defect in your moderation. In my opinion, that's a feature. That's the reason I chose you to be the moderator, Sacred. I want flat earthers to have no excuse when you call them out to debate me. I want them to look at a previous debate that you have moderated, see that you were very easygoing on the flat earther, and feel comfortable engaging in that type of debate with you being the moderator. Again, that's not a defect. That's a feature. That's why I chose you. I like these qualities. I actually like that you're soft on the flat earthers. I actually like that you let the flat earthers get away with an absurd amount of shit. That doesn't mean that other people have to like it, though. Other people can be critical that you do allow these sidesteps of the rules. Other people can point that out. Other people can make videos about it, and there's nothing I'm going to do to stop them. I'm sorry, there isn't. I'm not going to stop them. Now, we'll move on to the second thing that I would like to bring up, or not second thing, third thing, fourth thing. What the fuck number are we on? I don't know. It's been a long day. So you did make a I gotta word this properly. I'm not gonna call it a threat, but maybe a promise. You made a promise. I'm gonna call it that within my DMs. That was if my friends did not pipe down in regards to what the topic of the debate should be, that you would release our DMs, our private DMs that we had. And here's my response to that. I'm not going to show the DMs, guys. So if that's your hope, I'm sorry. I will be disappointing you. But I'm just going to read you my reply, because I can tell you what I said, but I'm not going to tell you what Sacred said. You can fill in the fucking blanks if you want. But here's what I said in response to this. Do you think releasing those DMs is going to help your case? While I do appreciate you coming to me first, I'm also reading this as a bit of a threat. Do this or else kind of vibe. So here's the deal. If you feel the need to release our DMs, then you do that. However, by doing so, that will give me the right to release our DMs too. So decide what you want to do and get back to me with a thumbs up emoji. So that's basically where we were at. And this all stems from me not being willing to correct Slice Barcane. Now, what was the public tweet that Slice Barcane made that sparked this whole thing? It was this. So you are saying that Reds chose to debate ideology and belief of something shapeless, ? Of course, you can back that claim, right? So this revolves around a part in the debate where I told Band Notice to stay on topic, to talk about the geometry of our planet and to stop bringing up irrelevant bullshit. But then in response to that, Band Notice said, no, we're here to debate ideology. And yeah, fucking news to me, because that's not what was agreed on. I'm just going to say that outright. That I did not agree to debate ideology or your belief in something. You can believe something that is total bullshit. For example, many people believe that the earth is flat, but we know it's total bullshit. So you can believe something, but again, it can be total bullshit. So belief is not really relevant. Ideology is not really relevant. We're talking about evidence for the shape of the earth that you're representing. So for Band Notice, it would be flat earth. And for me, it would be globe earth or round earth. So the reason why I'm not going to go out of my way to correct Sly Sparkane's Sacred is because he's correct. I did not choose to debate ideology or anything like that. And in fact, I'm going to read you a tweet or not a tweet, but a DM that I sent you. Let me find the exact date. Let's go to, all right, I'm going to read 3 of them from March 24th, 2023. And Sacred, if you want to share these DMs, go right the fuck ahead. I got nothing to hide here. The reason I allowed Gary to do whatever is because I had no agreement with him regarding any restrictions. That is not the case here. So again, there is only one topic: which model best comports with reality. His job is to show positive evidence for the flat earth that shows it comports with reality. Can he do this? If not, then I will just wait for a flat earther that can. That was in regards to Fifth Element. And then in the next DM that I sent him after he replied, I said, it's one topic. If that's too much for him, then he can just say that. And then the final DM I'm going to read is, they can bring up whatever they want to support, in all caps, the flat earth. I will do the same with the globe. And again, we are talking about which model best comports with reality. In reality, we tried to draw a map. We try to draw a map of reality. And our goal is to make that map as accurate as possible. Some maps are going to be more accurate than other maps. So in this analogy, we have 2 models that represent reality. One is going to represent reality better than the other. One is going to be able to make testable predictions, and the other one is going to be full of more shit than a backed up sewer after Fat Bastard ate some Taco Bell and flushed. One model is going to be able to stand on its merits and do so confidently, and another model is going to be the equivalent of asking O.J. Simpson, are you sure you didn't murder somebody? So that is the debate, and that is to force a flat earther to bring positive evidence for their model and to show that my evidence not only supports a flat earth, but it also comports with reality. So when we ask the question, what should we believe, flat earth or round earth? Well, only one model comports with reality. Only one model can make accurate and precise predictions. Therefore, the model that we should follow is obvious. That is what I wanted to discuss. That is what I wanted to talk about moving forward. After Fifth Element did not show up because that dude just fell off the fucking face of the flat earth, I guess, that's when Band Notice entered the scene. So I asked the following question, and the question was this: to clarify, he's going to present positive evidence for the flat earth, ? Sacred replies, so is that a yes? Sacred replies again, and then I say finally, I'm going to take that as a yes. So I will state on my Twitter, he has agreed to present positive evidence for the flat earth. Now, never, not once in this entire DM exchange with Sacred was ideology or belief system mentioned. Ideology, belief system, not mentioned at all. Now, I understand that that's exactly what Ban Notice wanted to debate. So he was engaged in some debate, but he wasn't engaged in our debate. But this is why I'm not going to quote unquote correct Sly Sparkane, because he's actually correct here. I did not agree to debate ideology. So when I say we need to debate a model or present evidence for something, that means the only thing that they should bring forward is evidence, not ideology, not even philosophy. Sure as shit, not religion. Sure as shit, not numerology. They should bring evidence for their model. So anyway, that is not to say that Ban Notice was completely office rocker, but to be frank here, guys, Ban Notice took that freedom to heart, and he had a sizable portion of his rebuttal and his presentation dedicated to ideology, and I'm just going to call it what it was: preaching. That's what it came down to: preaching. Now, like I said, guys, and I want to be very, very clear, this is not a bug, referring to Sacred's moderation, that he allowed that to happen, or that that I guess the debate topic was switched around behind my back or whatever the fuck. I honestly don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Because that is not a mark against Sacred. That's a feature. I want that in a flat earth moderator. I want him to be so fucking easy with these flat earthers that they have no excuse when I challenge them to a debate, knowing that Sacred is going to be the moderator and will handle the flat earther with kid gloves to make sure that they're confident in engaging in this kind of debate. Because here's the thing, guys, let's be honest here. Even though Ban Notice had everything going for him, the motherfucker did not win this debate. He fell flat on his face. I'm sorry, the dude lost. And yes, it may have been a bit of a clusterfuck at times, but at the same time, this was to be expected. If a flat earther cannot stay on topic, if they're not confident enough to stay with the subject matter of the debate, then that is on them, regardless if the moderator does it or not. They should have enough self-control to stay on topic. And if they don't, then that's on them. So, and again, all this was by design. I want Sacred to be the moderator in that way. I want Sacred to handle the flat earther with kid gloves. Like I said, that's not a mark against Sacred. That's a feature there. And so we move on to the last thing before I'll send the relevant links out to people. If y'all want to join, I'll send it to Sacred, of course, and I will also send it to AT2 Productions because he's asking to come in. I'll also send it to Big Mike because, I know he wants to come in and whatever. So that kind of thing. If you want to come into this call and have a discussion about that, please send me an @ on Twitter and I will get you into this call so we can discuss this further. Because let's be frank here. I know Sacred has a lot to say and probably wants to rip me a new asshole. And who am I to deny him the opportunity? So Sacred, I'll get you a link here momentarily. But first, let me answer a question that you had for me, and I'm going to answer it directly. Do you want? The question you had for me was, do you want me to continue moderating for you? Sacred, bro to bro, yes, I would like for you to continue moderating. Quite honestly, I don't care how dog shit your moderation was. Again, my bar is very, very low at this point. It's practically underground. If you handle the flat earther with kid gloves, then that's to be expected. I don't give a shit. I think the last the last debate, it had the potential of being a cataclysmic dumpster fire, but truth be told, you did stop it from becoming a dumpster fire. For the most part, we were able to get from one side of the debate to the other side of the debate. We were able to get from start to finish. That's an accomplishment, and you deserve credit for that. So yes, I do want you to continue moderating. However, what I would also like is for a flat earther to agree to debate on a platform that isn't a fucking Twitter space. That's one of the main criticisms that that Slice Arcane, not of you, Sacred, but just of the whole thing in general. So, Sacred, here's my thing here. I am no longer doing debates on Twitter Spaces. It is a dog shit platform. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want you to be the moderator. That doesn't mean that I don't want you to have control over the call. But for fuck's sake, we need to have some standards. And Twitter Spaces is the most dog shit platform out there for this kind of discussion. So, before I agree to have a flat earther be eclipsed by my shadow and have a debate with yours truly, you're going to have to get them to agree to a StreamYards call to this platform where I have the opportunity to screen share shit, where I have the opportunity to show in real time what I'm talking about without having to tweet it out first. Again, people can still join on their cell phones. People can join on a desktop if they so choose. I have a computer and I would like to utilize that shit. I hate being limited by my fucking cell phone. Again, Twitter Spaces is not, I repeat, it is not the best platform for this kind of shit. So, Sacred, I do want you to be the moderator. I would like for you to set up whoever else you have lined up, and, that's whatever. But it needs to be on a platform that's actually worth a shit. So let me go ahead and just highlight one more thing. And by the way, Sacred, if I need to tell my fucking people to pipe down, the same is true for yours. So let me go ahead and highlight, just to get you started, Sacred. Cough, make money, cough. Let me go ahead and highlight this. If a flat earther is concerned about that proud flurf, I'll turn off monetization on it. I'll turn off super chats. I'll do this shit for free. So don't give me this shit that this is all for money. I have a full-time job. I earn an honest living. Go fuck yourself if you think otherwise. So, but speaking of super chats, let's go ahead with Leo for $5. Here, Reds, this super chat is coming to you as you told me to because I'm your minion. Excellent. The mind control is working. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and make this shit show a true shit show. I am going to send some invites out to some peeps, and it's going to be a cataclysmic dumpster fire. Don't expect anything less, guys. Do not, I repeat, do not expect anything less. So, sending out some links now. Bear with me. All right, there's that. Send it on chat. Enter the call. I'll let you in momentarily. Again, if anyone else wants in on this shit show, you can ask for a link and I'll send it to you in DMs. I do ask that if I do send it to you in DMs, you keep that shit to yourself. All right, so links have been sent. So I sent it to Big Mike, send it to AT2, send it to Sly Arcane if that guy wants to come on in, send it to Sacred. And like I said, if anyone else wants to come on into this shit show, you know what to do. Send me an @ on Twitter. Let me go ahead and post the tweet that you would reply to if you would like an @. So just reply there and you should be good to go. And while we're waiting for people to show up, I am also going to read some super chats. But anyway, let's see. Earth is Life, $5. I sent you the video regarding the Flat Earth fighter pilot in the comments of your last video. Let me guess. That dude was full of shit.
The dude was fucking with him.
The dude was oh, so he was a troll. All right, let me find one more because I know there was another super chat that I'm missing here. Okay, so there we go. For M2M for £5, I can vouch for that. If Red started telling me what to do, I would probably tell him to fuck off. Hashtag respectfully. Thanks, M2M. Great guy. Siggy again for $6.66. If this escalates to a Sly and Sacred Wrestling in Mud, I offer $100 for the winner. Hail Sagan. That would be not sexy. And plus, Sacred's not a human. He's an android. I imagine he would short circuit because, you know, waterproofing is very, very hard for androids. Siggy for $2. Also, happy International Workers' Day, comrades. I don't know if that's a communist pun, but I'll take it.
Little bit.
Little bit. Okay. And that's about it. So now that's, oh, wait, hang on. So Sacred Sin, there we go. Let me get rid of this. So once again, guys, just to make sure that people are aware, I posted in the live chat a link to the tweet that you would reply to if you want in on whatever the fuck this is. And, you know, if you wish to bring matches, gasoline, or potentially a fire extinguisher, be my guest, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to go in order of who the fuck got here. So let's go with you first. AT2 Productions. What say you about this whole shigamadig?
Gotta love when people can't put their egos aside.
We're off to a great start. I fully doubt that's not going to add fuel to this fire. Big Mike, what say you about this whole thingamajig?
It certainly was a big mess. There was a lot of mistakes made, but I respect your opinion that, you know, listening to this, I understand where you're coming from, especially given how difficult it is to get a flat earther to agree to anything. So it is interesting to be able to at least finally be able to hear what your take on it was, given that you had to suffer through that.
I mean, I'm making sense, right, Big Mike? Because, you know, I think that when all things considered, it's a good deal regardless.
Now, just wish that we could actually get them to stay on topic and, you know, follow through with understanding what positive proof is, which I think is something they still don't understand. They know what they just hear proof. They don't understand what the full context of that term means.
Can you expand on that just a little bit? Because I think you're referring to a certain part within the debate that you're trying to bring up. Can you just lay out the context real quick?
Well, I know that even weeks prior to the debate, you had been saying, you know, I'm looking for a flat earther that can provide positive proof. And that was something I was also looking forward to in that debate. It was one of the things I was looking forward to listening to. And, you know, Van mentioned he had 37 positive proofs. I put in quotation marks. None of them are actually, you know, debate-wise positive proofs. You look at that definition, none of those are positive proofs. So.
Understood. And before we get to Sacred, this should totally add even more fuel to this fire. Lau for $5. As a minion here, here you go. Thank you for telling me to do this super chat. Hashtag Sacred. These are all slanderous lies. I did not tell anyone to do shit. And you'll be hearing from my attorney. Okay, all jokes aside, thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. All right, Sacred, what say you about this whole whatchamacallit, shingamadig, whatchamadoohickey?
What's up, chat? You know we in here. We pulling up every single time. We're not here for none of the lies. We're not here for none of the bullshit. You spelled minion wrong, by the way. And Big Mike, it was positive evidence. That's what Rez was requesting this whole time, not positive proof. And we already know what Wu-Tang gonna do. He's just gonna straight attack and, you know, add Hami to death. So we already know how that goes. But what up, man? We in here. I just want to make sure that we clear. This is not about anybody being critical about my moderation, right? Because commentary is different from moderation. This is about what people keep saying that are lies and dishonest about how this whole debate came to fruition. Rez, there's a reason why you wasn't reading none of my DMs, and I kind of want to know why that wasn't the case. But go ahead, read your super chat or your whatever chat that is.
No,
Positive
I
proof.
think you should read it out loud.
I'm not going to do that. Soapy Chan, thank you, Soapy Chan, for participating. Positive proof and evidence is essentially the same. There's some distinctions I'm going to say, but I'm sure we're going to get into that, more. But anyway, I guess the question was, why am I not reading DMs? Because I don't know. Are we now at the point where we can start releasing DMs?
Not listen, bro. I'm just saying, if Big Mike is saying, Sacred, you're lying, show me the proof. I'm like, bro, like the only way that I can prove to you what happened between me and Rez is to show the DMs. I'm not gonna do them like that. Like, I know we got a little bit of smoke here and there, but I'm still gonna respect the man. If he's not gonna go and put stuff out, I'm not just gonna listen to what you want. Like, this is a conversation that happened between me and Rez. If he wasn't okay with doing something, he would have told me straight up. So like, why y'all acting like Rez don't control his own actions? Why you making it seem like I manipulated Rez rhetoric? Give your man some more credit. You think that I can manipulate Rez? Is that what you think, Mike? You think that I can manipulate Rez into doing something? Why don't you give him some more credit? He's his own man, my guy. Stop talking down on him like that.
Yeah, but is that also the same story when it comes to other people, my quote unquote minions?
Well, yeah, I mean the same thing with Sly. Like if they're saying things that aren't true, like I changed the debate, right? No, I did not change the debate. I lit Reg, you know for a fact, when we were talking about the whole conversation with the first debate with Fifth, which hopefully that man is all right. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I'm really hoping he all right. I don't know where he at. He hasn't been on Twitter since then. So
The turtle stopped suddenly and he fell off.
maybe it did, bro. Maybe he finally got caught up in the ether or some type of gravitational field or got hit with a graviton and then knocked him into the next galaxy. Who the hell knows? We haven't found a graviton yet, so maybe he's in the exact same place. I don't know. But we were literally talking about how we were going to perform with these debates moving forward. We were trying to get the structure intact. Now, my original suggestion to you, Rez, and tell me if I'm lying. I said, do you want to talk about specific topics? I said, this is what Fifth wants to talk about. He gave 3 topics. And I said, because this is how I joined this like debate arena, I guess. We were in like a conspiracy space. And this is how I was introduced. I never really watched any flat earth debates prior to me getting on Twitter. So when I was introduced to Twitter debates, it was in a conspiracy space. And what they did was they chose specific topics for us to debate. So that was my approach to this. I didn't really realize how you was doing your debates with other people in the past because you've been doing this for years. I haven't. You know what I'm saying? So I asked you, I was like, look, this is how we did it. We did like 3 topics and we debated those topics. You're supposed to bring your evidence and then we were going to have our like rebuttals or critiques or whatever the case is. And you said you didn't want to do that. You said, nope, I want to do models and positive evidence. Now, let me just clarify something real quick, because the reason why this actually came up for Rez recommending me, and I don't want to monologue because I know you guys say I'll be going on a tangent, so just stop me whenever you want to, Rez. But this came up because you said that Gary said, go ahead, you say his name because I'm not going to lie, I do like how you say his name. Gary, what is it, Rez?
Oh, that Bing.
This guy. So Gary had to kind of agree to like doing a debate or whatever the case is. So like at the time, Rez was saying, he don't have to provide a model, because that was kind of Red's first thing. He's like, the flat earthers got to provide a model in order for me to go debate that. And y'all know, like a lot of these things we don't have in full totality, right? We have ideas and we have certain projections that you want to call from globe maps, but there's not really a model. That this thing like evolves all the time, just like the globe earth. So I respect Rez for kind of backing off of that. He said, okay, look, you don't got to provide a model if you don't want to provide an actual picture of a model. But what I do require is positive evidence. You can't just critique the globe and step on the globe and tear apart the things that people don't quote unquote understand about the globe yet. He said, I'll fall back a little bit and we could just do positive evidence first. So you guys got to give me a chance, as Rez Rhetoric, who does this all the time, to critique your positions. I don't want to just be on defense. And that was fair. I said, okay, cool. I respect that, because we want to see the conversation. We want to see the dialogue happen. So Red said, okay, I'm gonna ease up on my requests, and this is what I want to move forward with. You just have to have positive evidence. So when I presented this, like, okay, we're gonna have positive evidence and critiques for specific topics, Reds told me, I don't want that. I don't want specific topics. Reg, you told me straight up in the DM, they could talk about whatever they want as long as it's positive evidence for the flat earth,
That
not
sounds like a
for the
topic.
shape of the earth. There was not one time where you said, I only want to talk about the shape of the earth. Everything that you said was capitalized as flat earth. You said, I'm going to debate the globe earth, and I want somebody to debate the flat earth or whatever shape earth it is. But it was about the globe. It wasn't about a specific shape at all. And I know this for a fact because when I presented the topics that Fifth wanted to talk about, I said, hey, if you like these topics, we could move forward. If you don't like these topics, we could talk about anything that you rather talk about as well, like gravity or quote unquote curvature or physics or space. I said we could talk about specific things so we could keep this way more concise and direct and not so free flowing. So you guys can't badger me like, oh, Sacred, you're doing too much. You're all over the place. I said, let's keep it specific. Rez, did you agree to that specificity or no?
Not to the extent that you're saying. No, I didn't.
Exactly. You said model. Now, I will say one thing. I did say ideology because, again, the context. He said they didn't have to provide a model. So I didn't want people to attack me for ban not putting a picture on screen for a model, which I will say, and if you guys want me to substantiate this, I will. Ban wanted to do that. He said, I want to go ahead and describe and depict a model because I don't think that I can have a debate without describing my idea of what this earth is. So he wanted to do the model. I got the DMs right here. So when I said ideology in the moment, maybe it was like not the right word to use, but I know Rez wasn't going to come up here and stand by me and say, no, 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 I didn't want a actual model. This is about positive evidence. So I just literally say, hey, this is about an ideology. This is about your idea of what the earth is, and you got to bring positive evidence for that. That's what this is about. And I know that's what this is about because whether I said model, ideology, perspective, do you think that Red's information was going to change had I used a different term? Does anybody think Ban's presentation would have changed had I used a different term? No. So I don't
Well,
know why we're playing semantics about this.
pause for a second. The story
Good.
you just gave actually directly from your own words, Ban wanted to provide what Reds was looking for, and you convinced him not to.
No, no, no,
So
no.
which is it?
This was after the fact when Reds was saying like, "Hey, I want to do a model," and then he was like, "Well, we don't got to do a model if they don't want to do that. We're gonna do positive evidence." So I went to Ben and I said, "Hey, all you need to do is positive evidence." And he said, "Okay, well, look, I do want to describe my model because I feel like I got to do that." And I said, "Cool. You don't have to provide a model, but it's just about positive evidence. But yeah, go ahead, describe your idea, model, whatever the case is, and then we
Let
can
me
move
get in
forward."
here for a second here, just to kind of get back on the rails a bit. I think we are at the point where we're arguing semantics, and I'm going to say, Sacred, you knew exactly what I was looking for. Because when I was, when you said, yo, ease up on the whole models thing and stuff like that, well, fine. I want evidence for the flat earth. And whether you want to define flat as a shape or a dimension or whatever the fuck else, I don't care. In the context, we knew exactly what I was asking for. And you know this too. Every single time we have a new guy come into your flat earth spaces, the first question you ask them is, what shape do you believe the earth to be? And if a person, I know a lot of people that have answered to that question, flat, and you said, that's what's up. You agreed with them, and then we continued on from there. So in that context, flat was a shape. In that context, we had no problem calling flat a shape. And that was the context in which I was setting up this debate. So when we're arguing the shape of the earth, it would be flat earth versus round earth. And people would easily understand that that's the actual topic when we're saying, what is the shape of the earth? When we're debating the question, what is the shape of the earth? And so I really don't like this semantic game about dimensions or shapes or whatnot. It doesn't fucking matter to me. We know exactly what we mean when we ask the question, what is the shape of the earth, flat or round? So we can do it like this next time, and this will clear up all the confusion, because I honestly don't give a flying fuck. It would be, what is the more accurate model of reality? A flat plane with topography, or a spherical earth with topography that's in a slightly pudgier at the equator or whatever? I mean, we can be as technical as we fucking want. I don't care. But at that point, we get so bogged down in the nitty-gritty details about what is flat, dimension versus shape, and we start getting to nitty-gritty about the definitions of literal words, when we can just bypass that shit, just like we do in the Twitter spaces on any other Friday.
Well, Reg, that's what they're holding me accountable for, is these specific words, because everything else went super smooth. So in order to attack me, they gotta play these type of semantics. So I'm like, bro, flat is not a shape. We just describe flat Earth as that, so people are aware. It's the same thing when we say we live on a ball. Not every single time when we're talking about the Earth, you guys say an oblate spheroid. It's just easier to say ball. Nobody is
Yeah,
saying that
we're
the Earth
we're
is
bypassing all of the
this. Yeah,
semantical nonsense, but that was the
exactly.
context in which I was setting up this debate.
Yeah, but when I was asking you if you wanted to talk specifically about curvature, which to me, in my mind, like this would be about the actual shape or dimensions of the earth, you said no. Now that would align if with everybody else is attacking me for sacred. This was supposed to be about the shape of the earth. Why I asked Rez if he wanted to specifically talk about curvature, because then that would describe shape or dimension. You
To
said
to
it
to,
could be
to be
whatever you want it to be. It was in regards to the model itself, whether we wanted to talk about pressure, curvature, things in space, things not going in space. These are the things that you were looking for people to prevent evidence for, or not evidence for, so that way you can critique it. You didn't
but
say
this is why.
specifically I wanted to do the shape of the earth. You didn't say I want this to be a debate about if the earth was flat. You capitalized flat earth and you kept saying model. That's what you were saying. So it's just like, okay, so we're going to talk about the model, and I used the word ideology. If you guys want to hold me accountable for that, fine. But I just didn't want to be criticized if Ben didn't put a picture of a model of a flat earth on screen, because that's not what he was going to do. He was going to talk about positive evidence within the flat earth model. So I
Yeah,
was
but
trying to
but we
avoid
have
critique, and that ended up being the most critique I got. And I'm like, bro, like
But we
nothing
have
would have
to
changed.
understand something, Sacred. I've been asking for someone to take the flat earth position in this debate. That's clear as crystal what I'm expecting from them. And so if they come in and they try to, oh fuck, he left. Okay, I'm gonna wait for him to come back and see what happens afterwards. TBR, you just came in. By all means, come on in.
Yeah, can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you and see you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you again. In all of these debates, and I know that you and I have talked briefly about this before, I have some background in debate, and these are some of the things that bother me in all of these discussions. And so I took a couple notes, and I'll hit these points. Are first of all, what the term what the term everybody's looking for is an affirmative argument. And that does, in fact, differ from just proof. Okay, the idea is this all comes from policy debate. That's like the bedrock of what formalized debate is. It's called policy debate, and you start with a resolution. And Red's done a really good job with this, about trying to write a resolution, one that's fairly straightforward and simple. And sometimes they get very stacked and difficult, very narrow. But he says, this model is more accurate than another model. He says the spherical Earth is the more likely or more stable of the two arguments. Make an affirmative argument based on this resolution, and that is what is meant by an affirmative argument. It has to go to making the point that affirmation is true, that resolution is in fact the case. Does everybody understand what I mean by that? Because that's important.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's just one of them that really always stands out to me. The other one is this idea of spanning. And I'm just talking about from a debate perspective, right? I listened to parts of what he was doing, and what he was doing is called shotgunning, gish gop. It just throwing out a lot of stuff, and most of it is garbage with very little to back it up. There is a concept in debate that if you set out all of these things, and in a debate, they, you know, sometimes when they talk very fast, if you ever watch high school or college debate, they talk really fast for a segment. That's to compact as much in as many cards into a small amount of time as possible, and each one of those cards has to be addressed. But you actually are knocked points if you put in a bunch of arguments and you have absolutely no complete argument in any one of those components. So it's just as dangerous to put all of these arguments out as it is for the person defending it to not address each one of these. Again, my only thing adding here is to talk specifically about debate issues. And the last one is semantics. This one comes up all the time. And normally in a formalized debate, there's a portion of the debate that is spent all about defining terms. And so you come into a debate and everybody agrees what flat Earth is, and everybody agrees what spherical Earth is. So you don't have to keep on treading over these semantic arguments. So everybody outside already knows what flat Earth means, but rather than try to make it a debate point inside of some sort of debate, everybody agrees right up front what we're talking about. Flat Earth is flat Earth. What everybody normally calls flat Earth, that's a defined term. What everybody calls spherical Earth, that's a defined term. And we don't have to spend a bunch of time rolling over the same ground. Those are my points.
And honestly, I thought that, you know, going into this debate, that understanding about, we know what flat Earth is, we know what globe Earth is, we know that these are the two positions that are facing each other within this debate. I thought that was pretty obvious when we started. I guess I
mean,
was
I
wrong.
thought it. I agree, Rez. But you know, when I get on Twitter and then I'm getting attacked by Big Mike, Sly, Woots. Well, Woots didn't really ain't say nothing about this. But when I'm getting attacked by all these different people about these semantics, it's like you can't blame me. All I'm doing is replying. I actually put out a poll to see if you guys wanted to actually review the debate and go over what I did right, what I did wrong, what Rez did right, what Rez did wrong, what Ban did right, what Ban did wrong. Nobody. Well, I'm not gonna say nobody, but everyone voted to move on. This only started because Sly put out something and I didn't even watch the video, but he kept on saying all these weird fallacious things like, oh, why didn't I
Whoa.
like chime in and this, that, and the third? And I'm like, well, to me, my approach, and I'm gonna be honest, I was trying to be as least biased as possible while being entertaining. Right. So my thing was, I'm not gonna sit here and interject unless there was ad homs. And if Ben did say something about insecurity, I will take that. Like that's something that I could work on. I got to make sure that I'm staying fully aware of things that are being said if he did attack Red. So if that's what happened, I will go ahead and make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. This is my first moderation, right? So I just remember hearing ignorant and I was like, wait, I don't want to be any attacks. But if Ben did say that, you know, Ben, you can't do that if you're listening. But I was trying to stay out of it as much as possible. You know, when you're in debate, it's not only about evidence. And I was saying this in the Twitter threads, it's also about strategy. So what you guys wanted me to do was to interject into Ben's presentation and help him stay structured. So that way it would become more difficult for Reds to dismantle his argument. Now, I said this on Twitter. Reds did a masterful job at making sure he took notes on everything that was saying. And Ben did the same thing on everything that Ben said and highlighted the missteps and highlighted the weaknesses in his argument. This is how a debate works. It's evidence plus strategy. So if you want all of us, or at least myself, Proud Flurf also had the mic too. Nikolai also had the mic. If you want us to all jump in and help Ben stay focused, that would have made Red's job more difficult. Why would y'all want me to interject to make Red's job more difficult?
Two
Not
things.
to mention, and I'm gonna land here. Y'all can go ahead and chime in. Not to mention, when I watch Red's debate versus Jeranism, and I always say this, Reds did a really good job because Jeranism committed to a specific debate. He was supposed to bring positive evidence. Now he had a lot of great points dismantling the globe, but that wasn't really what the aim of the debate was. Now, when I watched the moderator, I don't remember because this was last year that I watched this, that he chimed in maybe once or twice, but he let Jeranism continue on his path. And Reds then responded and said, hey, you're not addressing anything that I'm saying. You're not even bringing any positive proofs or positive evidence. You were supposed to do that. And at the end of the debate, the moderator said, yeah, this is a good discussion, but I'm really disappointed, Jeranism, because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. He didn't stop Jeranism. He didn't stop the debate. He'd allowed it to continue to go. But because that guy doesn't have potentially a flatter position, nobody like attacked that moderator, whoever he was, but everybody knows my position. So you guys are attacking me for doing the same thing that moderator did, was allow the debaters to present their evidence and use strategy to dismantle the other position. That's literally what I did. And I don't know why I'm being faced with so much ridicule if I did the exact same thing.
Okay.
Hang on, Jared. Hang on, Jared. Jared, hang on. I will let you go, but we're going to have to do this in order. So here's what we're going to do. Proud Flurf is going to go next, then you, Jared, and then Big Mike if he would like to go. So Proud Flurf, if you have something to say, speak now. If not, then I'm going to pass the mic off to Jared.
What's up, Red Stream? Proud Flurf, Level Heads. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to switch to my computer in a moment, but
we can hear you. It's fine.
Yeah, you guys you make me laugh sometimes because we all want to have this conversation and we all want to get to a conclusive point of reference of like where we all stand, and then you guys do hypocritical shit like anywho. I just wanted to say thanks for letting us on your stream, Reds. You can pass the mic to one of your minions. I'm sorry, friends.
Sure. Jared, as my minion, you may have the mic.
All right, 3 things now instead of 2. 1, the way the behavior during the Jism debate, the moderator, it seems like you weren't paying attention to the first half of the debate there, Sacred, because what actually happened was during the portion of the debate where Jism was supposed to be giving his positive evidence, his supporting his positive claim of the Earth being flat, Jism was attacking the globe. And the moderator did step in twice during that period, pausing the time at each point to give Jism the chance to get back on track, to actually fulfill the agreement of the debate. It was Jism's decision to relinquish his time that ended that portion. That is what a moderator does when it is a structured debate and one of the participants is not sticking to the format or the topic. You interrupt appropriately, give them the opportunity, and let them decide whether or not they're going to get their shit together or relinquish their time. That's what happened in that debate, which is also where the criticism of you in this recent debate comes in, where it does come off as if you're not paying attention to what is actually being said. And bit of critique and a bit of advice for you. Be mindful about what you say. Think about what you're going to say before you do it, because point number 3, you said you didn't watch Sly's video and then start rattling off points directly from it. So which is it? Did you watch it and just don't want to admit it? Or did you not watch it? You cannot have it both ways.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it at all. I was just responding to
it.
everybody else who said that they watched it. So no, I didn't watch it. I don't know what he was saying. I think they were saying that I don't know. I got turned off when they said that I said I didn't want any science. And I'm like, when did I say I didn't want any science? So
I watched the video. That was not
that.
there. Whoever told you that lied to you.
Oh, well, he said the same thing. He said, Sacred said he didn't want any science or something along those lines. I'm like, when did I say that, bro? Like, so I don't know. So I was like, I'm not going to go into that. This had nothing to do with me. I'm open to all critiques. Like I said, this is my first time. I've never, ever even thought about doing a moderator debate or being anything in like this position. This was all Red's idea. And I thought about like, well, this sounds interesting, because I do think that Red believes that I'm fair regardless of my biases. So of course I'm going to have mistakes and stuff like that. But to be like, to lie on certain shit and to make it seem like I was trying to structure the debate in Ban's favor and like I try to change things for Ben and all this weird stuff. It's like, bro, I didn't do any of that. Everything that happened, Reds agreed to. Like, and I felt like I did a really good job at that. Not saying that I was perfect, but I'm like, come on, guys, like let's not just make this all about me. This is about Reds and Ben. If y'all got critiques of what
Exactly.
Ben did, like that's to me, it's up to the challenger Reds to dismantle that. So I want to ask Reds, would you have wanted me to step in and have Ben focus on your topics instead of you exposing him for maybe not addressing certain things? Like, how would you have wanted that to happen?
I have two answers to that actually. The first, but to say it bluntly, yes, I would have actually appreciated if you stepped in, because even though my bar is low, that would have actually raised it quite a bit. What happened in the previous debate that I had with Jeranism, or as we affectionately call him, Jism, because it's hilarious. The moderator did step in and even said, "Hey, Jeranism, do you wish to forfeit the rest of your time since you're clearly not going to present any evidence for your model?" We were actually thinking about putting that section of the debate on a t-shirt and for a little bit of swag. So yes, the moderator did step in, and I appreciate when the moderator steps in. It shows that not only are they paying attention, but they are actually they're concerned for the quality of the debate that we're going to get. So, for example, the very moment that Band Notice got into numerology, whether or not Fauci was a douchebag or talking about satanic worship or something like that, yeah, that would have been a great time to jump on in and say, hang on. You know as well as I do, Band. You know as well as I do that Satan can be a total dick face on both a flat earth and a round earth. Clearly, that has nothing to do with the subject. Let's get back on track. Let's get back on track, because a moderator who's paying attention would do that, especially when we're talking about the shape of the fucking earth. But as far as the second answer that I have to that question, the second answer I personally, while it would be nice, I honestly do not give a shit, because yes, it is a benefit. And I said this when I started this stream. This is not a fault. This is a feature. You are very, let's say, soft with the flat earthers, and I understand why. And that's why I chose you to be a moderator. I want flat earthers to have no excuse when you go to them and you say, I got someone who would like to challenge you to a debate and I'm going to be the moderator, because they're going to be able to watch that previous debate that I had with Band Nose with you being the moderator. They're going to see that you gave Ban every advantage in the fucking universe, and knowing full well that they're going to be treated the exact same way, that I don't have any say on whether or not they are held to a higher standard or not. So if that means I have to take the 666 numerology or the slander about Newton or bring up Fauci being an asshole or whatever the case may be, then so be it. I'll deal with it. The bar is low, might as well make it lower. So it's a feature. It's by design that I choose to have it that way. But if you want to know what my opinion would be as far as a quote unquote good moderator, what an objective person would say in that type of situation, they would say, yes, you should interrupt. You should tell them to get back on track. You should tell them that that's irrelevant and be very explicit when you do it.
Okay, so let me say this, right? Because when I first jumped on here, Wu Tender said something about me attacking me when I was tweeting that stuff. Big Mike was sitting there saying all these weird things about me. So can you at least acknowledge that, knowing that all your people on your side are looking for any mistake that I made to try to rip me a new one or attack me, that my approach was, let me just stay out of it? Can you at least acknowledge that if I at least don't say anything about what I believe Red's positive evidence is or rebuttals, or Ben's positive evidence and rebuttals, if I just at least stay out of it, maybe they won't sit there and say that I'm helping Ben's. Can you at least acknowledge that maybe that was my approach, to try to stay as far away from interjecting in anybody's position, so that way no one can potentially say that I'm trying to help him win? Because I mean, if you guys are going to sit there and say, oh, Sacred is being biased because he spent 14 seconds shouting out Ben and only 13 seconds shouting out Red's rhetoric, another Big Mike, because that was what you kept on spamming me, that I kept on being way too hype for ban notice, and I gave him 14 seconds of praise, and I only gave Reds 13 seconds of praise. So if
Oh,
I'm
just
getting these type of critiques, I'm just saying, can you acknowledge that I'm just trying to stay as far away from interjecting so that way y'all can't say anything about me?
If you let your fear dictate your actions, you will never learn and grow.
It's not about a
but
fear. It's just about being
You just
objective.
said you were afraid of the backlash you would get, which directly affected your behavior.
I don't
That
know if I
is,
said if I was afraid. I said I just didn't want to endure anything that you guys were trying to find to attack me, and I didn't want to
I
be
think we're
attacked for chiming in.
hang on, and I think we're running into a bit of a false narrative here, not on purpose and not from any one person. Let me try this. What you were doing in that case, Sacred, is that you were just being a timekeeper. A moderator is going to have to moderate. Now, here's the thing. If let's go ahead and just call them my crew. Fuck it. I'll agree with the terminology for the sake of this conversation. If my crew were to harp on you for telling Ban to stay on topic, then I would be like, that's bullshit. You know, don't do that. Don't do that. But if you got on my ass for, you know, getting off topic, like let's say I called a ban notice a piece of shit motherfucker, and that's the reason why his argument is wrong. If you harped on me for that, that would be legitimate, and I believe, and this is me, this is just me speaking here, I believe that quote unquote my crew would respect me enough to tell me that I fucked up there. If I disagree with them, then we can have that conversation. But if they saw that I did something wrong, or I didn't perform to my best abilities within that debate, I would expect them to be honest with me about that.
Yeah, but I don't
Now,
think that's the truth, Rez, because even Biggest Mike, he was sitting there saying, Sacred, you never critique bands. You would never, ever critique bands. And I'm like,
but let me
Biggest Mike, what are you talking about? I did,
but
and I
let me
sent him the
get to
timestamp, and he didn't even answer. So go
this
ahead.
is why I said I would hope that. I'm not saying that that's what they actively do, Sacred. You mistook what I said as a positive claim. No, this is a hope. This is what I would like to see. So, but I'm telling you what I'm going to do, what I will promise to do, because I don't want us to have this fucking conversation in the future where, you know, people are having a Twitter spats and it turns into a cataclysmic dumpster fire. And he dropped again. Not sure what the fuck happened there. So I will wait for him to come back. Why is there two Proud Flurfs in here? I have zero clue. I'm going to add both. Why the fuck not? Proud Flurf, which one are you?
This is my computer now.
Okay, that explains it. So it was two devices. So it wasn't an issue. And they're sacred. Okay. So moving back, let me go ahead and just point this one thing out. I don't want to have this discussion again where people are going to get into Twitter fights and it turns into a cataclysmic dumpster fire. But I'm going to say that the criticisms that were made of you, Sacred, while for me, I personally don't give a shit, they were valid. So my advice is to simply take that on board and be like, okay, here's what I'm going to do next time. I will jump in. And if Red's rhetoric has a more difficult time keeping up with the conversation because I'm constantly interrupting the flat earther to keep him on track, well, that's his fucking problem. Now he has to deal with what he himself has been asking for. So let me be very clear for what I'm asking for the next time. One, I'm asking for it to not be on a Twitter space because dear fucking God, that platform is such dog shit. And two, I am asking you to jump in. If the conversation is to be about the shape of the earth, which does include flat in this context, then that's what it should only be about. Meaning, if we have a flat earth that brings up numerology, Satanism, Fauci being colossal fuckstain, then I expect you to get on his ass or her ass and steer the flat earther back on track. No, we're not bringing up, anti-vax talking points. We're not bringing up Satanism or anything like that. We're talking strictly about the shape of the earth. Please get back on topic. And at the exact same time, If I were to go off topic, and let's say I brought up, oh, well, did you hear how this one flat earther drinks his own piss? That's what you guys do. Har, har, har. Then I expect you to get on my ass and say, no, we're not talking about a piss drinking flat earther. We're talking about the shape of the earth. Red Reddit, please get your shit together and let's get back on track. I expect that on both sides. That's what I'm looking for the next debate. So again, if we're to be completely honest with you, if it doesn't go that way, I don't give a shit because I still get to have the debate and it's fun regardless. But if you're asking what I would like to see, what would be a preference, then that would be it.
So you're saying that by me by me having commentary, being entertaining in between the arguments, whatever the case is, you feel like that is biased and that's affecting the debate. You agree with those type of assessments, like from another Big Mike?
If you're talking about the commentary, no, that's not where I believe the bias comes in. Because I said within
You
that
heard that, Big
conversation,
Mike? You heard that? Now pipe the fuck down, chill out, stop
you
tweeting at
gotta
me
let
about
me
shit like that. Go ahead,
you gotta
Red.
let me finish, bro. That doesn't mean that he's wrong when he makes those claims. I'm talking about what I'm saying. I'm not talking about what Big Mike is saying. I don't speak to what Big Mike's saying. I'm not saying that he's wrong. So please don't tell him to pipe down until he's had a chance to speak. He'll get the mic next. But after you reply, of course. But what I'm saying is that's not where I believe the bias was highlighted, because you even said yourself that you have a bias, and I appreciate you being open and honest about that. Where I believe the bias came in is that Band Notice did some egregious sidestepping of the actual conversation. I mentioned a few of them already, where we were talking about the saying that I was insecure in my convictions and that I was projecting insecurities onto him. And then that was a very dishonest tactic that I was playing. I wasn't playing a game. I presented evidence. They stand on their own merits. Please fucking address those. I didn't, or the time that he brought up satanic worship or Dr. Fauci again, or anti-vax talking points. I'm sorry, but that was like, what the fuck are we why the fuck are we bringing this shit up when, we're talking about the shape of the earth, and you not calling him out on that and allowing him to just do that scot-free? I believe that's where the bias was highlighted, because if I did something similar, I truly believe that you would have called me out on it, and rightfully so. I would have deserved it.
But I wouldn't have, though, Red. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, my approach was to stay out of it and let bands highlight your weaknesses and you highlight his. So I hear what your perspective was, but mine was, let me not even involve myself so no one can say that I'm helping him. Now, I agree.
But you
I
did
don't think.
actually. But you
Well,
did involve yourself, because even though I believe you were incorrect in this game, because if I did something egregious like that, then yeah, you would have gotten involved, because you got involved when I did something that was actually not all that egregious, i.e. when I said that he was ignorant about something. You said, watch the ad homs. And I'm sorry, saying someone is ignorant about something is not an ad hominem attack. An ad hominem attack would be, you're wrong because you're evil or some shit like that. But, we're all ignorant of something. Like, for example, I'm ignorant of the Spanish language. I can't speak Spanish to save my fucking life. I'm ignorant of calculus. I can't do calculus to save my life. I'm ignorant of a lot of shit. That's not an ad hominem against myself, nor is that an ad hominem against other people if they're ignorant about something else. So like I'm sure Big Mike is ignorant when it comes to crocheting, or 82 Productions is ignorant about how to ride a motorcycle like absolute dog shit, when in fact he's a pro. So, we're all ignorant about something. And so if you went ahead and called me out for saying that he was ignorant about something, if I did something more egregious, I'm sure as shit you would have called me out on it. So if you say that, hey, I wouldn't have done that, my job was to stay out of it as much as possible, well, that's nice to say, but I'm leaning in the opposite direction from that assessment from you, unfortunately.
So just real quick, now I will say that, numerology and all that stuff, I don't really agree that he brought stuff that like that up, devil worshiping or anything like that. But I will say that, in my opinion, and I'll go ahead and make an adjustment so that way y'all can shut the hell up about this. I feel like him bringing up some of the sciences, even though it doesn't have to do with the shape of the earth, was a good point to make, because you're getting all of your information from the sciences. So when he's making a point about, hey, the science changes and it's not always consistent. I feel like that is a good point to make. It's a good critique to make. And I don't think he stayed on it for too long. I don't think he needed to bring up Dr. Fauci in specifics, but he was just using an example. It was still relative to the science, which you guys are literally standing on in regards to the topic of the shape of the earth. So I feel like that was okay. But I agree, like the numerology stuff and some of the satanic stuff, that was probably unnecessary. There was
I'm
one other
gonna
thing.
I'm gonna kind of disagree about the sciences thing, but I'm not gonna harp on it. Instead, I'm gonna pass the mic to Big Mike, so that he can get his say in. So, Big Mike, I know some shit was said in your direction. Would you like to respond to said shit?
Of course. Yeah.
All right, then you may respond to said shit.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get shit smeared. He initially said that I didn't address the fact that he brought up, he commented on band. Yes, I did. In fact, I linked him that reply multiple times today. So don't know where he's getting that from. That said, yes, there are a lot of problems. I understand he has bias, but here's something he needs to understand is impartiality. You can have a bias and not allow it to control or otherwise manipulate your decisions and your actions. That is what being impartial means. And that is what a big part of being a moderator is. That said, I understand. If he doesn't want to get involved in the middle of the debate and, he doesn't want to keep butting in, that's fine. I 100% get that. There are still things he needs to do. Somebody else earlier mentioned it. He didn't seem to have been following the debate in detail, and that's a very bad sign on a moderator's part. Moderators should be as busy, if not busier, than the debaters, because every time someone makes a mark of hypocrisy or a fallacy, and I do mean a proper fallacy, not the excuse that's being thrown around lately, when they make those mistakes, you write it down, and at the end, between those rebuttal phases, you say, okay, Red, you were hypocritical. You said this. Well, you said this 5 minutes later. You note all those things down. You don't just tune out. You don't fall asleep for the 10 minutes while they're talking.
But that wasn't part of the debate, Mike. That I wasn't supposed to chime in and give my opinion.
Hang on 1 second. 1 second, Sacred.
My bad. Go ahead.
Let him finish, and I promise I'll let you reply afterwards. All right, Big Mike, go ahead.
So, yes, you can if he needs a butt in, he can. But again, if it's not something he wants a butt in every 5 seconds, he can just note it down and mention it at the end. There were already pre-made time blocks for each one of you to reply. So there was more than enough time for him to say, hey, you did this, you did that. And furthermore, I don't want to come off as impartial. I don't want people to get upset about me cheerleading. Then don't. No moderator in a realistic setting cheerleads for this exact damn reason. The second they do, somebody calls it, says that they're biased, that their opinion is showing. So they don't. They just say, it's your turn, go. Period. That is their full sentence. That is their entire review or acknowledgement of the previous person's actions. Why? Because you can't claim impartiality. That said, Red has already made it quite clear. His purpose is he wants that bias. He wants that tilted, that tilted stance. And as he's also already said, everyone who's calling you out on it is also right. It's just a different position. And you know what? If that's what Red wants, more power to him. I damn well know it's nearly impossible to get a flat earther. So to find someone like that, it's definitely worth it for me.
Thank you. Sacred, you may reply now, and then I'm going to give it to AT2 Productions afterwards, and then I will also pass it off to Proud Flurf to see if she would like to add anything to this conversation, and then to TBR. So, Sacred, please go.
So my style is going to be my style regardless. So you can sit there and say, oh, you're cheerleading. But again, that's being dishonest again, because I was hyping up Reds the same manner. So I don't care whether you feel like, that's fine. You can have your own opinion, but I don't care about how you view my style when I'm interjecting. I'm not interjecting when I'm commentating in between shit. I get shit hype. I get shit lit. I try to make shit entertaining and funny. So you got to address the fact that I did the same thing to Reds. Unless I cheer bands on and then went to Reds was like, I don't know, guys, like that didn't really sound like. Now that's bias. If y'all can't point out the points where I criticize Reds in between when I'm commentating, then y'all gotta chill the fuck out with that cheerleading band, da 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 da, and all that weird shit because I did for both of them. Now I did it from my way or my style, me being a flat earther, like, yo, yeah, you stepped on the globe, and oh shit, Red's mad confident, he coming with the facts, da 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 da. Like that's just what I'm doing. I'm hyping the audience up. So I don't really want to hear that no more. And also, you did not link me to where I critiqued Ben. So why are you lying? You literally said you would never and have never critiqued Ben. I said, what the hell are you talking about? That literally was what I did at the end because I wanted to show impartialness. I didn't want to sit there and say only good things about Ben and then tear Reds apart. I wanted to make sure I picked out at least some things. I didn't take notes like, they probably did. I went off the top of my head over a, 2-hour debate and was trying to figure, okay, what did I remember that I didn't like with Ben? What did I did like? What did I not like about with Reds? What did I like? And then I was going to give my quick a quick opinion. Like that's literally what I did. And you told me, okay, well, if that's what you did, send me the timestamp. And then I sent you the timestamp. You never replied to that. So I don't know why you keep on. Well, when did you reply to it? When did you say, my bad, Sacred? I told you that you never critiqued
multiple times today. So you were never.
When? What did you say? Say exactly what you said to me.
Anyone could look at my tweet replies. I did.
I'm asking you.
Every time you brought that up, you retweeted that to me. I responded to it. Now,
saying what?
If you didn't see that, that's not my problem.
Saying what, bro? Just say what you said.
I can't pull it up right now. I'm on my phone, and this web chat is open. I can't open Twitter like right now.
So you can't substantiate that claim. You should be able to know off the top of your head how you would reply.
Yes, I can when I leave. That you're completely pulling bullshit right here.
Hold on, I'm gonna go look right now. Because I'm on your page right now. Right. Every single time that I brought this up. Now this is important, Rez, because this is something that
I agree. It's important, Sacred. I'm not saying don't talk about it. What I'm saying is what I want you to do is I want you to pull it up. I want you to save it, though. So do not forget this train of thought that you are on right now. Do not lose this train of thought. We will come back to it. But I do want to get 82 production in here, and then Proud Flurf, and then TBR, that kind of shit. So, 82 Productions. Do you have anything you would like to add?
Oh, it's just going to reiterate a point that I made earlier before I head off and actually get something to eat. Sacred, if you actually genuinely want to get better and genuinely want to learn, your actions are going to demonstrate that. And the recommendation that myself and really anyone should agree with on this one is do your best to set your ego aside, go back and watch the entirety of the previous debate as if you were not a part of it, and then evaluate the performance of everyone involved. And then take the criticisms that you've been getting from other people and compare it with your own notes. Criticize yourself as if as if it was not you doing it. That is how you're going to start to be able to self-analyze and prevent issues from happening in this sort of scenario. You don't have to change yourself too much. It's just little things that will work to benefit you and might actually help the show you're trying to put on.
All right. Thank you very much. 82 Productions. Proud Flurf, is there anything you would like to add before I go to TBR?
Personally, I feel like this is pointless of a conversation because, you guys are nitpicking in a way. Like the debate shouldn't even be about Sacred. In all honesty, I feel like Sacred did a great job debating. I feel like Sacred did a great job moderating. Ban did a great job presenting his information, as well as you, Red. So the conversation as to what specific words Sacred could have used versus the words he did use is semantics, like you said. And you guys woke up 4 days later with a hitch up your ass. When do you guys ever hold each other accountable is my question. If Sacred is supposed to be the Flurf accountability, Woo Tinder. I can literally screen share you talking shit when you changed your name to Sacred's a Lying Bitch on the last stream, and none of these comrades said anything. None of them held you accountable for that. None of them said, "Hey, that's not necessary. Hey, that's extra." None of them. And what exactly? You guys don't hold you guys accountable for shit. And you know you don't. You guys have your little gang just like we do. And it's the same way. It's the same fucking way. You guys don't hold each other accountable. You don't point each other out when you're being extra or you're being fallacious. Like none of that. So I don't know why we're even having this conversation.
Proud Flurf,
Not
I'm
only did we
actually
support
gonna.
you, Red.
Yeah, but I'm actually gonna
I pulled up the tweet. I
speak.
don't know.
Hang on, Proud Flurf. I'm gonna speak to that in a just for. Wow. Okay. Proud Flurf, I did not talk about this at all. DMs were sent to me, not the other way around, and I was asked to get involved in some way, shape, or form. And instead of having a pissing contest on Twitter, like literally this stream right now has literally removed a potential 1,000 tweets from the internet. And quite frankly, Elon Musk is thankful for that. So this is a good thing what I'm doing, because I was DM'd, I was messaged, my notifications were blowing the fuck up. So that's on that. Slice Arcane made one video. That's on him, and he has every right to make that video. If other people want to chime in, comment, see what the fuck's going on, that's totally okay too. It happens all the time. But in terms of going extra and people not holding other people accountable for going extra, AT2 Productions changed his name to Sacred is a Lying Bitch. I don't know if he actually did that personally. I wouldn't know. But let me ask you something.
I did, and then you told me to change it after. And it was entirely intended to manipulate
No.
Sacred, which I admitted at the beginning.
Oh, so I did tell you to change it. Okay, I don't remember that.
I don't remember you telling him to change it either. I remember he had to switch off of his phone and go to his computer, and that's what changed it. But go ahead.
Whatever the case may be.
You seem to think that you can only communicate with someone verbally.
Whatever the case may be, not what the fact is. Okay.
Yeah, okay, fine. If I want to change it, then yay me. I'll take it. Thank you very much. But keep in mind, Proud Flurf, that goes both ways. Sacred has also gone extra sometimes, and I did not see you hold him accountable for going just a tad bit extra. In fact, Proud Flurf, if I remember correctly, you may have actually liked a few tweets that go a little bit extra. And I can give you one of those examples, like retweeting some, or liking at the very least, a post to suggest that I was scamming my viewers, to the extent that some of it came from the type of person that would say shit like, I used my dead friend to fraudulently enrich myself, coming from the same person that said that I stepped over his dead body to smash his computer into a million pieces, or that I helped someone fake their cancer treatment so that I could profit off of the gullibility of my fellow viewers or subscribers or shit like that. Let me be very, very clear about this. The reason why I didn't bring that up or go a little extra is because I know that, sometimes we have a lapse in judgment, and Sacred did have a lapse of judgment in that case. I try not to hold it against him. He hasn't brought it up since, and I appreciate that. But Proud Flurf, don't you fucking dare say that the extra is only on our side, because that was way more than extra. We're talking about a dead friend that I had, that other people used his name to suggest that I used his death to fraudulently enrich myself. Do you not see how that could be just a tad bit fucked up from your side? Just a tad, just a smidge. So, what I would like is for everyone to not go
talk
extra.
on your dead friend, because
I
speak on your.
I was not done talking. I was not done talking. What I want is for people to not go extra on both sides. How about, and this is a weird, this is a weird fucking idea I have. I know it's crazy and it's a bit out there, maybe a little bit much, but how about we stick to the merits of the argument and not the person making them? Let's try that. Let's avoid the personal attacks. Let's avoid the slander that other people may have said a certain other person in the past. Let's just stick to the topic, which is flat Earth versus round Earth. And if anyone goes extra on my end, they're a piece of shit. If anyone goes extra on your end, they're a piece of shit. They have every opportunity to change that behavior, and then they can be no longer a piece of shit. I don't hold anything against Sacred. I don't. I would easily sit down and have a meal with the guy. I think I owe him some curly fries. I would easily
A
sit down and
large
have a
curly
meal.
fries too.
That I would easily sit down and have a meal with the guy, and I'm sure we would have a grand old time. I don't hold that shit against him. So in the same token, show us the same respect. Let's move past this childish bullshit, and we'll go from there. And that's for both sides. Sound like a plan? Sound like a plan? Sounds good to me. Proud Flurf, if you wish to respond, please do. Otherwise, I'm going to let TBR go. And then Sacred, and then Big Mike.
So yeah, real quick, I don't want to speak on your friend that's passed away. That's not what the context of the conversation was about. The conversation was about grifting and the fact that we do not want to be referred to as grifters or flat earth thieves or anything of the sort, because we do not monetize in any way, shape, or form off of this at all. Sacred does not get $1 for anything he does, and you guys do. So for us to be painted in the light of anything like that is unacceptable, and we will not stand for it. So if you want us to point out the parts that are suspect and who's getting money from this, we can. So you don't want to do that? That's fine. We could keep it flat earth, we could keep it respectful. However, you're right, it does go both sides. If we're not going to hold each other accountable, then don't expect for one flat earther to hold the whole flat earth community accountable. Also, peep the ratio. It's like 800 of y'all against a couple of us. Y'all may have ran into thousands of flat earthers in your time, you know, 7 years on our 2 or whatever, but the ratio of you guys against us is not fair, and that's fine. I just want to point that out. Like, you guys also remember that, just so you're aware. But whoever has next, go ahead. Thank you.
Just so that we're clear, grifting doesn't only need to be monetary. I think that's what they're getting at. But in either way, I don't care. I don't think you guys are grifters. I said that a flat earther was a grifter, and I was very specific on who I said was a grifter, and that was Dearth, and I have very good reason why. I don't think for a moment that Sacred is a grifter, nor do I believe that Sacred is promoting others to be grifters. Don't think that at all. So long as we can keep the chill pill chilled, I think we'll be good there. TBR, please go.
Okay, so keeping on theme to what I was discussing, I'm going to give Sacred a couple compliments and tell you exactly what I think of what you did as a moderator. One of the things that I heard Red say is that, you know, or you say, is that you were interject personality into this, and they're supposed to be fun debates. They're not college debates. These are for entertainment purposes only. And you do interject a style, and you do interject some level of you have a way of carrying a conversation which is engaging, and I think it's worthwhile for you to just go ahead and embrace that and say that's okay, I can do that, but try to keep at least a little control over how it comes off to the audience. That is, if you want to do more of these, and if you want to be involved in hosting debates or even just discussions like this. As someone else said, if you listen through the debate and also listen to some of the criticisms and compliments that are being given here, you will get better. Understanding that people have complaints, and not taking them in such a personal way and not getting upset about them, is the only way that you're going to grow. If I thought about all the times that people have complained at me about various things, and I let that be the only, if I got overly upset about it, I don't know how I would move forward with much of anything. So I don't think that you did a terrible job. The other point that I wrote down that I would like to address is what I thought was most of his video was about the platform. The platform truly stinks, and what you guys seem to be missing about Twitter Spaces is it is in fact a lousy platform for any sort of debate where there is going to be some more detailed information. We bring facts, we bring documents, we bring things that need to be referenced, and you cannot do this in something that is so limited as what Twitter Spaces is, including just the idea that it has to be on a phone. Sometimes what you maybe Red needed to present would have needed a real keyboard to be able to type out, or link to something. Just ditch the whole Spaces thing. Don't use it for this sort of engagement. It's no fun for anybody, except for maybe you guys. I don't know. I'm just giving you my 2 cents here. And then I'm going to throw one more thing into here, which is the semantic arguments. I've had these problems with you before, and it gets me very frustrated because I get really bored of the semantic arguments. When you're inside of these debates, everybody should try to avoid this because it is boring for the participants. It's boring for the audience. Just don't do it. If there's some sort of sticking point, and Red seems to be reasonably good at this, is just letting the points slide. Just going ahead and say, fine, that's okay. You want to use this terminology, I'll roll with it. In a casual environment, I think that is perfectly reasonable thing to do. Don't get bogged down in them. And those are my only points. That's it.
All right. Big Mike, do you have anything you would like to add before I give the mic to Sacred? Because then we're going to wind this down with something, because then we'll look to the future, and that's where I want to look. So Big Mike, you got anything?
Yeah. Again, the big thing we just need to take, definitely community-wide, we need to work together. And yes, I will get him the tweet later once this ends, but more importantly, ultimately, this is just a case of there are some opinions and their perspectives that we would like to add to make it improve. Yes, we all suck at something the first time. That said, as others have pointed out, don't take it personally. Okay, I could do this, I can do this, I can take notes. That's something I personally noted. I commented on. There are different things you can do. That does not mean that you're an awful person, that you deserve the worst fate on earth. No, it just means that you need to improve if you're going to be a moderator. It is not an easy task. It is something that requires a lot of work. And if you want to, you've already stated that's your style, fine, I'll give you that. That's your style. That said, there's still things you can do to improve. So, Red, you have it.
All right. And before I give it to Sacred, I'm just going to repeat my point here. I honestly don't care if Sacred improves or not. Other people's criticisms could be 100% valid, and I wouldn't give a shit. So if Sacred were to change absolutely nothing, so be it. I don't give a fuck. Although the one thing that I'm going to be I'm going to be a fucking asshole about is the platform, because the one thing that I will not do ever again is another Twitter Space debate. So if we're going to have this debate again, and Sacred's going to be a moderator, we'd love to have him be a moderator. It needs to be on a StreamYard's call or something similar, so I actually have the ability to screen share worth of shit. Anyway, Sacred, you have the mic. Go.
So yeah, so I can't promise that it's going to be anywhere other than Twitter Spaces. I could present it, but my audience is on Twitter. And to be totally honest, when I tapped into the stream during the debate, you didn't really do anything, Rez. What I thought that you was really gonna do was open up the screen share and control the video, like pause it, slow it down, move it, this, and that, and the third. All that was happening, and I don't know if you had any help on your end, which I mean, that could also be something, because you wasn't supposed to have no help. It was supposed to be you versus Ben. I didn't help Ben at all. So like, if you were having somebody set up the video for you, and that video was just playing in the background as you spoke, whatever, I don't know if you got to put a monologue together, it sounded like you was reading something. It's the same thing on Twitter. Like it's literally the same thing. You have to put multiple tweets up, but Ben did the same thing. He threw the tweets up. He said, okay, reference this tweet. This is what I'm talking about. And you could have had your clips I don't know if you got the upgraded Twitter where you could have longer video clips or whatever the case is. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But it works the same way. You could have a tweet, you could post it in a Jumbotron, and it could run while you're talking about the specific topic, and then you can move on to the next thing. You didn't do anything different while it was on YouTube. You were just comfortable. And I told you that. I'm like, hey, if you want to stream to NASA, go right ahead. Like, I don't matter. But this is a Twitter Spaces debate. We are on Twitter Spaces. This is where the audience is. I don't have an audience on YouTube. So if you want to find a flat earther on YouTube to debate you, I'll moderate on here. But if my audience is coming from Twitter and they don't want to go over to this platform over here and use StreamYard and try to figure this all out and whatever the case, I can't force them to do that. So yeah, that'll be on you whether you want to continue to have these debates and continue to stream on StreamYard and YouTube. That's on you. But these are Twitter Spaces debates. I don't have a YouTube channel yet. And this is where our platform is. So I'm doing the best I can. Like I said, there's another challenger that is interested in potentially debating you or whatever the case is. So it's up to you whether you want to engage in that or not. And if you're gonna have me as a moderator, then all of you that's saying that I didn't do a good moderating job gotta admit, well, hey, I know Red said that he don't care about how I'm moderating, but he's choosing me for a reason. If I was super biased and I was damaging the entire debate with commentary, with chiming in and helping, he wouldn't use me. He wouldn't use me at all. So like, there's different reasons why I'm being used as a moderator, but that's one of the main reasons, because I'm literally bringing flat earthers into a comfortable space. We're using the tools that we're using in order to have a discussion, and I'm not helping them. I'm not manipulating the debate in favor of the flat earther. So y'all can just chill out on that. But I do want to appreciate TB. Whenever you're not, off your rocker at night and stuff like that, you are really sound-minded. You have a lot of good points that you make, and you're honest. I don't know, whenever you get in your other mode, that's a whole little different story. But this is the TB that I respect. This is why I followed you, TB, because when you like this, when you honest and when you coherent, and you're not disrupting the conversation, I would love to engage with this TB on a regular basis, or at least on a weekly basis. Big Mike, I'm just going to address this again. I'm looking through the tweets. If you want to pull up the tweets that I sent you, I literally sent you everything that I was talking to Big Mike about. And he said verbatim, let me just go to the DM real quick, because I literally just sent this to you. Big Mike says, notice how you never bring up Band's lack of rebuttals. That's literally what he said. And I said, that literally was my entire critique during the live recording of the debate. Why would you even tweet such a lie when everyone can go back and listen? Have you no shame? Right? And I also threw in, like, the biggest Mike needs a bigger hearing aid, because he's attacking me for something that isn't true. So clearly he wasn't listening. So he says, sure, give me the timestamp where you critique Band for not addressing the Tampa Bay photos. Then I linked it, and you could show it if you want to, Rez. I linked it as at 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 25 seconds. Those were my critiques. And I said, hey, Ben, I would have liked you to address some of the things that Rez Rhetoric putting out, and I think you missed that out.
Is that him or is that me?
Him or you or what?
You just cut out for a second, and I don't know. I didn't know
my
if the
bad,
internet
I'm
just
bad.
took a giant shit or if you just stopped.
Yeah, when I'm in Twitter, it keeps me locked in for a little bit, and then it dies out. But yeah, so I sent you all this stuff, and I literally says right here, 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 25 seconds were my critiques. And I said, after you realize you've been unnecessarily tweeting false claims, I need you to tweet that you were wrong and address my original question. Because what I realized, Reds, and I'm gonna be honest, because I didn't take any notes when I was doing my critiques. I just said, I gotta say something positive about each, and I gotta find something that I didn't like about each. That was my main goal. I didn't have a list of things. So when I said Ben should acknowledge some of the things that you brought up that he didn't, you did as well. You might not agree with the laser test, but correct me if I'm wrong, Big Mike, TB, Proud. Did Reds address the laser test that align with a level flat earth. Did he address that? Because if he didn't, then that's a critique that you got to say to Reds too. Now, you don't have to, but if you're going to sit there and say that Ban didn't acknowledge things, then you got to say, well, Reds didn't acknowledge everything either. At the time, I just didn't remember because I was just, thinking just generally speaking. But did he address the laser tests that are linear and aligned with the level flat plane over level water? Did
Big
he
Mike,
address
would you
it?
like to respond?
Sure, we can always discuss about the 30, wait, no, plus 17, plus what was it, 13 so points. I already said it in today's discussion. If Red was to address every single one of his points, he would have had to have spoken like the Micro Machines guy. That's not a realistic expectation. That is where you should have butted in and said, hey, you already have enough claims. You don't need to add Dr. Fauci. You already have enough claims. You don't need to add numerology. Start to just dunkle down. And you know what? Red already said he doesn't mind to have a little bit, pushing Ban towards actually staying on topic. So again, you want something to improve? Again,
Biggest
not
Mike,
improve,
did
whatever.
he address the laser test? Yes or no?
Did Band address the blink
Did
test? Both
Reds
sides,
address the positive claim of the laser test? Yes
you're
or
missing
no?
you miss what positive proof is. But again, again, he
Why
did
don't you
not
just want
address.
to answer? This
It's
is my
not possible
problem.
for him to have addressed every single one of his points in the amount of time. He would
Oh
have
my
spent close to
goodness.
10, 15 seconds each. Is that realistic
Notice that
to
he's not
explain it?
answering the
Is it
question, y'all.
realistic for him to cover it in
I
15
think
seconds?
he's explaining his answer. Let me try to get in between so that we can look towards the future, because
Just
that's
got
always
one last
fun.
thing to say, Reds, but go ahead.
That's fine, but let me get this out. Just hold that thought. Do not lose it. Whatever you do not lose that thought. I think what Big Mike is trying to say is, well, let's acknowledge the obvious. No, I didn't address it because, quite frankly, it got lost in the 40 or so other points that the dude was bringing up after his initial 10 minutes to actually do the presenting. The whole point of a rebuttal is to rebut, not to present more shit on top of the shit that you already presented in the time frame where you were supposed to present stuff in the first place. I think that's what Big Mike is trying to say, that while Ban Notice was, he only had to deal with, I forget the exact number, seven things that I brought up. In his place, or on his side, he threw 40 something points at me. So for Ban Notice to miss out on one of the 7 is more egregious than me missing out on 1 out of the 42. The ratio is different. Yes, I didn't remember the laser test thing that he brought up because it was lost in the other shit that I was trying to type like a million miles an hour to keep up. However, Ban Notice doesn't have that same excuse because it was, I forget the exact number, but let's just say it was 7. It was 7 at the beginning. It was 7 during the first rebuttal phase, and it was still 7 during the last rebuttal phase. He only had to address 7 points. And I believe Big Mike is saying that he didn't quite address all of them, even though they were easier to keep track of. I find it very difficult to keep track of 40 plus different so-called proofs. But at the same time, I also see it as a lot easier of a job to keep track of 7. I only gave him 7. And what Big Mike is also saying, that if I were to address literally every single point that he brought up in the 10-minute time frame, let's just do some fast math here and see what we get. So we do 60 seconds in a minute, times that by 10, we have 600. He brought up 42 points, let's say 42. That means I would have to spend a grand total of 14.2 seconds. That's all the time I would have on average to debate every single thing that he brought up within my 10-minute time frame. That's ridiculous as an expectation. I think that's what he's saying. But 7 within that time is way more feasible. Because if we do 600 divided by 7, that means he would have over a minute. He would have 85 seconds to dedicate to each and every single one of my points. And that's way more doable. So we're talking by that. And so let's divide that by, the 14.7 it is. That means he had damn near 6 times the amount of time per point to debunk whatever I brought up. Again, he brought up 42, I brought up 7. They were easier to keep track of. He had more time to dedicate to each one of those points. And the fact that he missed, I would say, a shit ton, kind of doesn't speak very well for his side of things. And so this is the thing that Big Mike is highlighting. Big Mike, I hope I do you no injustice by explaining it in this way. Is this correct, Big Mike? Please tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're completely dead on. This is completely accurate. It's just a matter of, you mentioned percentage, which is correct, but timing. It's not possible to address all this in the amount of time provided. Now, if you increase the amount of time, that may change, but 10 minutes, that's all you had.
Yep, correct. So see what we're talking about, Sacred? The numbers didn't add up. So if you were to have I'll bring up an example that Slice Barcane brought up in his video. The example was, if you have a chef that has 85 items, most likely the reason why he has so many items on the menu is because all of them are shit. But if you have a chef that really hones his craft to a few dishes, you can be damn sure that those dishes are going to be excellent. Chef's kiss. And that's what I try to do. What Band Notice was doing was rapid fire, just, address this, address this, address this, address this. And by the time you look at all, I'm only given 15 seconds at best per point that he brought up. It's not feasible for me to address absolutely everything. So the criticism that he didn't address certain things is more valid than the criticism that I didn't address certain things. I had more on my plate.
Okay. And there was no limitation or no say, hey, we can only talk about specific things. See, what all of you guys are really doing is saying, hey, he put me in a position where I had to pick and choose my arguments. That right there to me is strategic. And what you guys are admitting is that his strategy potentially worked, whether you agree his points were valid or not. He got you so flustered in his 40, 50 points, whatever the case is, that you didn't address the positive claim. Now, whether I agree with that strategy or not, it was effective. And this is why I'm saying the debate is more than just positive evidence. If you were confident enough to only pick 5 to 7 positive evidence or proof about the globe Earth, although you have unlimited amount of science and resources to choose from, that was your choice, Reds. You could have chose just as many points to fluster him as he did with you. So what you're just doing is just admitting the strategy worked. So
the strategy was to go against the format, because keep in mind, the point of a rebuttal phase is to rebut what I just said. But he used that time not as a rebuttal phase, but to throw more shit onto me.
Hold on, I'm going to get to that.
Following the topic. That's not following what I would assume the actual point of that section of the debate was. The point of that section, it's literally in the title, rebuttal. You're not here to add more shit to the fire. We have enough to go on. Thank you very much. You're here to rebut shit, not add more shit.
Okay, so I'm going to address that in just a second. But what I really want to address was why it was so easy for you to say, Reds, no, I didn't address this point. This is my reason why. That right there is respectable and honest in science. What Biggest Mike is doing is coping, capping, being dishonest, trying to make sure he doesn't hold you accountable, which is bias. You literally just proved how easy it was to admit to something and then give your reasons why it happened like that. Not hand wave or disregard. And that's the shit I'm so tired of on my timeline, when you're trying to paint certain narratives in a certain light, Biggest Mike. And then I said, well, hey, Rez didn't do this either. What you could have done to actually propel the science community and to hold you guys to a higher standard, it was like, you know what? You're right, Sacred. Rez didn't do that. But here's the reason why. Then we could have had a respectable, critical conversation. You did not do that. You kept on hand waving, dismissing, moving on to something else at like a completely off topic of what you decided to tweet at us about. And that right there is dishonest. So I hope you can see the difference between when I ask you a direct question and you ignore it in front of all the viewers and everybody on Twitter. And when I ask Reds a question, he says, yes, Sacred, This is why I didn't address it, because I was overwhelmed with a bunch of filler topics that I tried to address. That is the difference. Now, in regards to the rebuttal, I want to make sure that I'm clear, because I'll admit, if I made a misjudgment on what the actual rebuttal phase actually meant, or if I didn't clarify it, I will go ahead and take that. Now, in my opinion, the rebuttal phase was to rebut the position. So if he was able to address all 7 year topics in a perfect world and had time to bring up other things about the globe Earth, then he could have done that, in my opinion, as the moderator who was hosting the debate. Now, if he chose to, okay, I don't really have an answer for these 3 points, so I'm going to pick out other things, you are able to highlight that, but this is a rebuttal of the position. Now, if you want to move forward and be more to clarify this and say, hey, don't talk about anything else other than what I'm actually bringing up, then we got to be clear about that, because to me, that was unclear. To me, you're taking the globe Earth position. He's taking the flat Earth position. If
I have
if he
to
brought
remind
one,
myself that this okay. It's usually common knowledge that a rebuttal phase is about rebutting what the other person said. So let me go ahead and be clear right here, right now. If that was a misunderstanding, fine. We had a misunderstanding. I don't give a shit at this point, because we're looking towards the future. So here's what I'm looking for. One, should be on a StreamYards call. No different. And guess what? You can actually live stream a StreamYards call, not just on YouTube, but also on a Twitter space. And that way your fans, your followers can watch it at the exact same time without having to get off of their platform. But at the same time, we're on a better platform where shit can actually get done, because I actually have the ability to not just present a link to a video. I can scroll to a certain portion of the video and even slide through the video in real time to show you exactly what I'm talking about.
but
That's
that's
the
what I
first
was
thing I'm asking
expecting,
for.
Red. I was expecting
But
you to do that, and you didn't. So that's why I'm
yeah,
saying, what's the point?
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The reason why it wasn't done is because I was stuck on a fucking cell phone. I can only do so much for it. But in this way, I'm actually on a desktop, and I actually have the ability to do a little bit more shit, be more flexible, because let's face it, desktop computers are more capable than cell phones. It can be done that way, and it will be done that way if I'm in this position that we are in right now,
So hold
because
on, let
I'm
me
actually
ask
on my
you.
desktop and I can do it right now. But when I'm on a cell phone, I don't have that capability.
So what you're
So
saying is, let me just get some clarification. So what you're saying is, when you're on Twitter, you're on your cell phone and you're not able to operate your live stream and control it from your computer desktop. You can't do both of the things at the same time.
no, because I'm focused on the debate. I'm focused on my phone. The reason why. Now you said, oh, did you have anyone help you with the live streaming? Yes, I actually did. But keep this in mind: they helped me with the live streaming. They didn't help me with the debate. They had no input in the debate. They had no input in the evidence that I presented. The only thing they did was they screen shared what I wanted them to screen shared, and they shut the fuck up. And that person was 82 Productions. 82 Productions had zero input when it came to the debate. The debate was 100% me. But as far as the production value is where I needed some help, because again, I was limited to a cell phone, because Twitter Spaces doesn't allow you to actually join the Twitter space, to actually participate in the Twitter space through a desktop. It just doesn't allow it to happen. For some reason, Elon Musk is biased against desktops. And
Well,
I didn't
I
design
do
the
agree
system
with
like
that.
that.
I do agree that, they should be allowed for desktop, and I think iPad is another thing. But I also disagree with you saying, "Oh, I was focused on my phone," because the phone could be in a stand. You could just have it laying on the table, keep yourself muted, and you don't have to worry about it. The only thing that you could have done, like I said, was just click the share button, have all your tweets tweeted out, and then share them to the space, and you can talk into the phone while controlling your desktop. So you're making an excuse that I don't necessarily agree with. I feel like you are fully capable of doing both of these. I didn't know that you was having help. And as a matter of fact, if I knew that, I probably would have said, no, you can't have no help, because Ben didn't have no team behind him helping him with the debate. Now, whether you saying that that's not with the debate or not, that was still all of your evidence was over there. So I
Yeah,
did
my,
I
my
did tell you that you could use the StreamYard to go ahead and stream this your evidence, whatever the case is, but I expected you to still share things in the platform that we decided to share them. Like, if we're having a debate forum in an actual building, you're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, my evidence is in a different state." Like, no, we're in this building having a debate face to face. Why are you telling me that I got to go to a different place in order to see your evidence? You could use it in order to, for your audience. That was fine, but you were supposed to share your evidence to the Twitter space. Now,
If we're
I
all,
didn't interject and say anything about that. Now, I
if we're talking
disagree.
about being clear, Sacred, then let's also be clear, because on April 20th, which was before I posted this update, the debate between me and @ban notice, so I added him, will be on a Twitter space at 6:30 p.m. EST. However, I will not be limited by such a dog shit platform, so I will be live streaming the debate to my channel, where I will show slides that go with my opening. Links to be posted tomorrow. If Ban Notice had any issue with this, he would have spoke up about it. But if I agreed to, this debate, even though things weren't made clear, then the same is true for him. If he had any issue with me streaming it to my YouTube channel and having production value in on it, he would have said something, but he didn't say anything. And not just that, this tweet was also liked by Proud Flurf. So
Yeah, no, we
Proud
all
Flurf knew
shared
that
it.
I was going to do shit like this.
We all shared it, just like we
Yeah.
expected you to share our space and share the promotional tweet, which you didn't do. We shared that. There was not a
It was a
limitation.
reply to mine. You already shared it by it. You
I'm
already
saying
replied to me.
we shared your live stream, just like you didn't share our promotional tweet, which we made it particularly super cool for you Glow Birthers to like, right? And we didn't really get no engagement on that, but we still shared your stuff, and you didn't share any of our stuff at all. Now, I will say you had our stuff on the screen of the actual Twitter space, but you didn't share none of our tweets, none of that stuff. We retweeted, we told everybody to go fuck with y'all, and you didn't share none of our stuff. Now, in the actual DMs, what actually happened was you asked for my permission. This is what your exact DM was. Will I be allowed to live stream this on my channel at the same time? This wasn't a demand of yours. You asked if that was okay. And what did I say? This is my exact response. You could stream to NASA if you like, but this is a Twitter Spaces debate. We're not requiring anyone to leave the platform. This is the best I can do, my guy. So I'm not saying you could only go to Twitter. I'm saying, hey, yo, use whatever you want to. But this is a Twitter Spaces debate. And this is what I'm saying. Like, when you're pushing, I'm not saying that you're doing this purposely, but when you're not giving the full context of the conversation, you're misleading the people that don't know what's happening behind the scenes. And the people like the Biggest Mike, Sly, Wu Tender, maybe some other, Globies in the mentions that follow you all the time is piping up like I'm doing some weird shit. I'm like, bro, I'm literally making Reds comfortable. I could have just said, no, we're not doing that shit. And then Reds could have said, well, that's fine. I won't stream. Or, okay, well, I'm going to have to figure it out on Twitter. But I was trying to make everyone as comfortable as possible and less biased as possible. I didn't want to sit there and say, Ben, you could go ahead and choose who's going first, and not say, Reds, you can't fucking live stream on your channel to make you comfortable. Ben, you could choose who goes first and who gets last word, and he still gave you a last word. And hey, Reds, you can go live stream on your channel as well. But this is a Twitter Spaces debate. So we got to add context, bro, because again, I'm being attacked. Proud Flurf is being attacked. You're not saying anything about this shit. And you don't have no obligation to say anything about the shit. But when we go and start replying and we start putting this stuff out and how it's really going down, y'all can't be mad at that because you guys don't have the full context. I'm trying to be as forthright and honest as possible without violating or disrespecting Reds in our back end conversations. And y'all got to remember that y'all don't have the full story. So when I sit there and say, hey, Reds, do you want to talk about shape and curvature? And he says, no, I want positive evidence for a model. You could use whatever you want. Stop attacking me about, oh, you changed it from the shape of the earth. No, if Reds wanted to only talk about curvature, he had that option. So just stop that. And that's the last thing I want to say. And I think we already covered the
I'm not going to
rebuttal.
harp on that point because we already went over it. But one thing that I want to say is that you are saying like, oh, well, I expect Reds to be able to juggle all this shit, operate Twitter Space, operate his stream, not have any help in the live streaming, and also pipe the audio in such a way that there's not a cataclysmic amount of echo involved.
If you want that, then yeah. If you want to do that.
Sacred, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Production value is an art, and you got to pick and choose your battles sometimes when it comes to production value. When I when I do a live stream, when I present stuff, I want it to be, you know, not a fucking mess. And I want my 10 minutes to be spent not fumbling around with the settings on Twitter and the fucking live stream and the live chat and, you know, making sure everything's in the right order in that way. I want to spend my mental power on the debate. Again, my attention was fully 100% to the debate. I had somebody else do the production value bullshit on the back end. They did not help me with the debate. They didn't pick the slides for me. They had no input in what I said. Everything that I said during that debate was me. So
yeah, but Rez, but you didn't hold your poll.
Hang on. Because I dedicated all of my brain power to that, that was done out of respect for the Twitter space. Yes, I acknowledge it's a Twitter space. I acknowledge that Twitter spaces has shit. But at the same time, it was my choice not to be limited by that dog shit. And if that's a mark against me within the Twitter space itself, then so be it. In my opinion, it's a mark against Ban Notice for only wanting a Twitter space. I guess we're both going to be disappointed in that regard. That's why, for the future, this is exactly what I'm looking for, to make sure we don't have this fucking conversation again. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 3 things in particular. Number 1, this not be on a Twitter space, but on a platform like StreamYard. You can use a phone or a desktop and there's no issue. Number 2, I want it to be set that we're talking about the shape of the Earth, and it is strictly flat Earth versus globe Earth. They need to present positive evidence for the flat Earth, and I need to present positive evidence for the globe. We're talking geometry here, nothing about the scientific establishment as a whole or what conspiracy is super hot on N95 this week. None of that shit. No, we're talking strictly geometry. You believe in a flat Earth. I believe in a globe Earth. Bring evidence for the shit that you represent. And finally, number 3, the rebuttal phase will only be about the rebutting what we actually brought up. That's not another opportunity to bring up even more shit. And even then, I'm going to go a step further with a number 4 point. Number 4, let's limit the amount of shit that we bring up. Let's say 5. You bring up 5 points, just 5. And then I bring up 5 points, 5 pieces of evidence. And we will spend the entirety of the debate just arguing these 5 points. If numerology wasn't part of your original 5 points, I ain't going to fucking talk about that shit because you didn't bring it up in the initial 10 minutes. If the fucking laser test wasn't part of your initial 5, it's irrelevant. It gets tossed aside. By the same token, if I bring up a SpaceX launch and that wasn't part of my 5 original points, it cannot be considered. It must be tossed out. And Sacred, I give you complete permission to not only stomp on the flat earther's ass for bringing up extra shit, but please stomp on my ass if I bring up extra shit, because that would be against the rules.
So it won't be viewed as me helping anybody. That's me just moderating, right? I
Yeah,
want to be clear about that.
Viewed as you just moderating. So I'm going to say, just to make sure that we're clear, 1, better platform. 2, rebuttals are only for rebutting what we actually brought up. 3, this is a topic about geometry, not ideology. And 4, limited to only 5 points total. And of course, this really isn't the 5th point, but if you want to call it a 5th point, then so be it. Sacred has free reign to actually interrupt, and he is welcome to correct and get shit back on track, and he will not be crucified for doing the job of an actual moderator. So I trust Sacred to do a good moderation job. I trust that he's going to try really fucking hard to be fair. And so that's why I will again go to Sacred and say, yes, Sacred, I would like for you to moderate, but let's go ahead and see if we can include these 4 things. I'm going to let you respond, Sacred, and then I'm going to give it to TBR.
So I think that everything that we could probably make sure that works out, because like I said, I just want to become better at this. I want the debates to become better. I want the conversations to become a lot more digestible. You know, this is the first time, so y'all ease up. You know, we doing this in real time. I haven't been doing this as long as Reds, but I have fun doing it. So I think most of those things that we can go ahead and make the adjustments to tweak it a little bit better. I just don't know if I can have anybody come on YouTube or StreamYard. I don't know if I can make that happen. I will present it, but if they say, hey, no, I just want to do it on Twitter Spaces, then that's just what it is. You know, I got one lined up. And if you don't want to come up on YouTube and StreamYard, whatever the case is, then that's on Reds to either decline or accept that. And if it doesn't happen, y'all
I'm just
know
gonna say
Reds
here,
declined
I
it.
will decline that shit outright. I'm done with Twitter Spaces in terms of an actual debate. I'll still come to Twitter Spaces just to talk, but in terms of an actual debate, I'm firm on that. I tried Twitter Spaces once; it was a shit show. Let's stick with
I
better
think it was
platforms.
actually great. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, we put out a poll and most people said that they enjoyed it. So, hey, if it doesn't happen, guys, you heard it here first. It's because of Reds. He don't want to do it no more. That's it. Now, if they agreed to go on YouTube and StreamYard, then you'll see us pop up over here. But like I said, if it don't happen, it's because Reds don't want to do it.
Sure. TBR, you have the mic.
Yeah. First of all, I would say let's just hit on the last thing that you just brought up, which is this Twitter Spaces thing. I have a desktop that I use that has 3 monitors attached, a full keyboard, and a mouse. There is no doubt that it is a different environment than.
Dan, probably you heard that he got the whole command center, just like we was talking about. That's crazy. Go ahead, TV.
Yeah, sure. I think that probably most of the people that you're talking to have a desktop that is capable of a much more diverse toolkit than just a phone. So saying the two environments are somehow or another similar is preposterous. They're just not. They're clearly. Otherwise, I would just do everything on my phone, which I don't. I have a phone, a tablet, a laptop, a big computer, because each of these things do a job better than another one. And in something that's going to be complex, like trying to present information, like in a debate, what you want to do is have all the tools that you can possibly have access to. Then you also brought up again this idea of shotgunning, and somehow or another thought that was a good debate tactic. It's really not. For anybody who listens to these, or anybody who's listened to a debate before, or frankly anybody who's willing and being fair, shotgunning is a terrible, terrible tactic. What is typically happening is somebody's throwing out a lot of concepts that are easy to throw out but difficult to discuss. Now, I can give an example, but more importantly, just think about it logically. If I throw out some sort of bit of bullshit, let's say about Dr. Fauci, or pick your topic, yellow labs are the best dogs in the entire world. I can say that in about in a few seconds, but to actually rebut any of those topics might take me a very long time. It's just not the same. So 20 arguments all blasted out are not in fact a good debate topic or debate strategy. They are simply seen as distracting. The other thing that I would say about that is, if you have a well-written resolution, which I think I brought to Red before, more vertical resolution, that can help sometimes. What Red has already said is he's talking about a model for the Earth, and that needs to stay on topic. And if you define that even more narrowly, then any topics that are thrown out as cards, what are called cards, or affirmative arguments that are outside of the scope of the resolution, should be ignored. And the moderator does in fact have a place in that very space to say that is well outside of the bounds of this discussion. That is in no way impactful on the debate at hand. So if we're debating the shape of the Earth and somebody says the moon landing never happened, that's horseshit. That means absolutely nothing in the context of the debate, because it means nothing to the shape of the Earth. And Sacred, I'll say this last bit, and Proudfleur. I understand that people get upset and can take things from their own perspective. I have been debating or talking to flat earthers for a very long time. I find them incredibly arrogant, very rude, and very dismissive. And if you say that this is somehow or another, oh, you guys are the trouble, and I say, no, you're the trouble, and it's so dull. It's such a dull conversation. Everybody, if you want to have part of some sort of debate, try to have a debate. Try to be positive. Try to bring facts. Don't get too lost in any. And I get totally angry. I've gotten angry at you, Sacred, and I had good reason to several times. I know that you probably don't agree with me, but that doesn't matter. I've been upset with Red. I think I had a little tussle with him one time, speaking proud flurf of never calling our never calling anybody on our own stuff. Of course we do. We do all the time.
I remember that. I just don't remember what the subject was.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but it was something or another. I think that we had a little tussle. Anyway,
just a light one, a love tap.
Yeah, exactly, right. So those are my points, and Sacred. Oh, and I don't know how you would do a combined thing between Twitter Spaces and something like this platform. I don't know how you'd combine the two. I think that Red is probably dead on right about just not doing Twitter Spaces because it's just not a very successful. Do you wonder why? I spend a lot of time in business every day. Discussing things with people and using a computer. We don't get on Twitter Spaces to do that. We use more robust platforms. Twitter Spaces is just kind of fun to yell at your friends. That's the only possible thing I could think of to use that for.
Yeah, I agree. So let me go ahead and also try something else for the future. And this is going to highlight what Proud Flurf brought up. And hopefully, this will eliminate some expectations and some bullshit that we're fallaciously putting on each other. So let me go ahead and put a compromise out there. Not really compromise, but more of an agreement. Sacred, it is no secret that a lot of people say some shit about you. It's also no secret that some people say some shit about me. It's also no secret that some people are going to say some shit about some other people out there. It doesn't fucking matter. So here's my deal to you, and I want you to agree to this right here, right now, in front of all these people. And if you want to tweet it out later, I'll like the tweet, whatever the fuck the case may be. I really don't care. So here's the deal. Because it did get kind of heated, and I will admit that that is a very touchy subject for me, let me do this. You ignore all the noise about me. I'll ignore all the noise about you. We stick to the subject at hand. I'm going to say explicitly, and I hope that all my so-called minions are listening to this part right here. I do not believe for a second that Sacred is being dishonest. Getting some echo from you, Proud Flurf. Gonna mute you there. I do not believe for a second that Sacred is being dishonest. I think he's biased, but I don't think he's being dishonest when he's moderating these chats or these debates. I don't think he's being dishonest at all in that. I think he genuinely wants to make the show entertaining. And if that means going a little bit WWE ringside announcer on this shit, then so be it. Because quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I understand the stylistic differences are there. And if he wants to have that stylistic difference, then that's entirely on him. And who am I to say that that's the wrong approach? I'm not going to say that. And so I won't. But that would be considered noise, Sacred. That would be considered noise. Same time, some people said some slanderous shit about you. That would also count as noise. So to make sure that we don't fall into this trap again, the thing that Proud Flurf was bringing up, let's do this. Just speaking for ourselves, not in terms of the group as a whole, but just for ourselves, just you and me and nobody else. You ignore the noise, and so will I. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, listen, man, we don't have no smoke for nobody like that. You will never see me or Proud Flurf proactively going out to attack Globe Earthers. You will always see Globe Earthers proactively coming and attacking us. So we're just replying. So if someone like Sly puts out a video and says that I'm being dishonest and I manipulated things in order to diminish Red's capability to debate, I can't do anything about that unless I say, hey, Reg, can you tell them that's not true? Because if not, I'm going to have to do something about this. So that's not necessarily noise. That's someone saying, hey, you are doing something deliberately dishonest. And I know that Reg isn't agreeing to da 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 da. And I'm like, well, that's not how it happened. So we
that's a conversation that can be had. The thing is that
that's why I reached out to you, though. That's why I said, hey, look, that's why I wasn't really even talking about anything else. until that attack started coming on me. And I'm like, listen, bro, like, I don't know where y'all are coming from with these ideas, but if you really want to go check, just go ask him. He agreed to everything. So we're not proactively.
Let me be clear here, Sacred. Let me be clear. That would only be noise in the sense it, like, for example, I agree with a lot of their criticisms. If they went so far, however, to say that you were intentionally being dishonest or you're being deceitful and that you were purposefully being, Jerry Springer about it to the flat earthers'
That's
benefit.
my problem. That's my problem.
And here's the thing. I do not agree with that assessment. If other people have that assessment, that is entirely on them. But I don't listen to that noise because I have already stated both in this stream and in my Twitter space and even in a stream that AT2 Production hosted that I still choose you to be the moderator. I have my reasons for that shit, and I'm not changing that shit, regardless if they hate me for it or not. I don't give a fuck. So the same thing should happen, at least on the reverse. I know that you've heard some derogatory shit about me. I know for a fact that it's been brought, and I know exactly where you got that shit from. It's not that hard to figure out. Canary traps work that way, and it's still snapping motherfuckers to this day. But the truth of the matter is this: that shit's irrelevant to the actual conversation that you and I are having. So I'm not going to bring it up. So if they say, "Oh, Sacred is doing this, and that's why you should not have him as a moderator anymore," I'll be the first to say, "Well, you don't get to make that decision. I'm sorry, you just don't. You don't get to dictate to me who I choose as a moderator. I have my reasons, and if you don't respect that, well, tough shit, fuck off." That's what I would say in response to that. So if you hold the same energy when it comes to derogatory shit like that, I'll hold the same energy when it comes to derogatory shit in your direction, especially when it comes to them claiming that you were dishonestly manipulating the debate. I don't believe that.
I appreciate that.
If there was a lapse of judgment, let's call it that. If there was a lapse of judgment on your part, that is not dishonesty. That is not being untruthful. That's not trying to stack the deck in a certain direction or whatever the fuck. Again, I know that's your bias, and I want that bias to be very, very visible. I want people to know that you're not on my side when it comes to this debate. That way, flat earthers don't have an excuse when you go to them and you say, "Hey, let's go ahead and do this debate. I'm the moderator, but I don't trust you. You're a globe head or whatever." Then you can correctly correct that shit and not give them an excuse. That's a very huge benefit to having you being a moderator. But I do not agree. Once again, I do not agree with the premise that you were purposefully being dishonest and that you were being, a purposeful lying asshole, wherever the fuck the narrative is. I don't really care at this point. So no, I don't think you're being dishonest. I don't think you're being deceitful. And I honestly don't think you're a bad guy. I think you're mistaken in a lot of things when it comes to the reality that we find ourselves in. But this is stuff that we already know about each other. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, I probably would agree with that.
Perfect.
But yeah, in the same way too, that's why we hold our Twitter spaces, and that's why I enjoy when you guys come in here, so nobody can say that this is an echo chamber. And this is why sometimes, listen, I know you guys are a little bit uneasy sometimes when we go ahead and clip positive things that are said about us, because what we are trying to do is diffuse the toxicity. So it's not always just people saying, "Oh, we're lying about this and that," in regards to Reds. We get attacked. "Oh, you guys are cowards. You guys are dumb. You guys don't know how to have conversations." So when Red said, "Hey, Sager's not a bad bot. He's actually kind of a cool robot," I'm probably gonna say, "Hey, you guys should probably stop talking shit about me, because one of your main popular globe earthers is not agreeing with you, and he comes into the space all the time, and we have great conversations. TB be coming in a conversation when he's not a little tipsy, and we have great conversations." And yeah, I'm going to use certain things to diffuse toxicity. If we don't get attacked, then we're going to have a pretty good civil conversation. But if we are getting attacked and I tweet out, positive things about us that show that we are not in that light and we are coming from an honest perspective, I'm only doing that to diffuse any toxicity that's being proactively tweeted or attacked at us, Proud included.
Now let's not, and also I assume the same thing will be in the reverse. So if you have a bunch of people on your side of the debate talking some mad shit about how I'm dishonest and I fake my shit and it's all CGI and whatnot, I can count on you to be there if I were to at least make you aware of it. I can count on you to be there and be like, actually no, he doesn't CGI his shit.
Yeah, well, listen, we spoke about this before, so I haven't been around you. I don't know what you and Astronomy Live be doing. I just can't substantiate that claim. So I'm never going to sit there and say, yeah, he's doing that. What I will do is tell the flat earther that's saying that, hey, do you have any evidence of that? Because if you don't, then that's just a claim and that's just a belief, and we're just going to dismiss it. You can have your opinion, but I can't control your opinion when I give you the mic. So if you can't substantiate that, then we're just going to move past it. But you may be doing CGI. I just haven't I don't have any evidence to substantiate that claim, so I'm not going to push that narrative. So that's how I approach it.
Get at Sacred. What I'm trying to get at, Sacred, is that when people say that you are purposefully being dishonest, I'm going to immediately speak up and go, no, when it comes to him running his spaces and him doing this debate and all the shit that we talked about tonight, you're not being dishonest. Will you supply me with that same energy and be like, whenever someone comes to me, and now here's the thing, I could be mistaken for all, the earth could be flat and everything I just say is wrong, but that's not coming from a place of dishonesty. That's coming from, no ad hom here, a place of ignorance. So you can say that, Reds is definitely ignorant about a lot of shit. I'll agree with you there, but to call him dishonest is a bit much. Will you have that same energy?
Yeah, I feel like when you make your claims and you bring up you're doing the legwork. I say that all the time. So, and I do want to touch on that too, because I feel like there is a way to say that, which could be ad hominem and which can't be. If you say, hey, you're taking an ignorant position, that's not an ad hom. If I'm saying, hey, you're ignorant, regardless of if it's true, there are some people that are dumb. There are some people that are smart. Whether it's true or not, you're still talking about the person, right? So someone can be ignorant and that may be true. It's still an ad hom. You have to say it in the right way. You gotta say, hey, that's an ignorant position to take, and here's why. So I want to make sure that that's clear. Now, I don't really remember in real time what you said during the debate, but there is a way to say it where it doesn't come off as a potential ad hominem, which is why I chimed in at that time. But
what I gave was an example. My example was, if I have we're talking over the internet right now. Cameras are not on. I can tell you that a car is parked right next to me. So you can say, okay, a car is parked right next to you. But if I ask you, what is the make, model, and color of that car, you don't know because the camera's not on. You're not where I am right now. There's no way for you to know. But we know intuitively that, it is a car, it's a model, it has a color. You just don't know all of these nitty-gritty details. Being ignorant of something doesn't change what that something actually is. That's the point I was making in that example. I'm highlighting that ignorance shouldn't be seen as an argument for anything, because if you remember what Band Notice was bringing up, he said, oh, well, so many people are ignorant about the globe. What does that tell you? Well, it tells me that a bunch of people are ignorant about the globe. Doesn't tell me anything else. It has nothing to do with the shape of the earth. My point in bringing that up was not to say that Band Notice was ignorant. I was simply bringing it up as an example that ignorance actually doesn't mean anything when it comes to the actual state of affairs.
Yeah, and I get that description. It's just like I said, it's how you say it, because I made a strict rule, so I wanted to make sure I stuck to my rules, the 4 that I put out there, and I wanted to make sure that it was positioned and said the right way. And I know it's in real time, so we're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's a robot like me.
We're not perfect, but let's try to make the conversation itself as perfect as possible, and that's where I'm going to end off on this. So, Sacred, my deal to you. I will snap back at anyone that says that you are dishonest, and you do the same in my direction if they come from your camp. Does that sound like a plan?
Right. As long as it's about the actual topics itself. If it's anything else, then I can't speak on that. But if it's about the topics itself, I would say that I think that Reds is putting his best foot forward until I find out that there's something else. But yeah, like I will make sure I hold them accountable and saying, hey, if you're going to call Reds dishonest, you got to substantiate that claim, or else we're just going to dismiss that, and you can't really be popping shit like that. But go ahead.
Perfect. So here's what I'm going to do for this one, or this stream. I'm going to give everyone a chance to get a last word in before I end the stream. A note to people watching in the live chat. This stream, I agree with a lot of people, is fucking stupid. This was the result of a cataclysmic dumpster fire that happened on Twitter. And so I don't want it taking views away from the actual debate, which is where I believe your views should actually go. So here's what's going to happen. This stream will be available for everyone who wants to watch it. However, it will be unlisted. So if you want to watch the stream again, save the link. You're free to tweet it out if you want so other people can find it. I personally don't give a fuck. It's just not going to be featured on my channel because I don't want it taking views away from the actual debate. And plus, I don't want it polluting my channel of all the good content that's actually on there that's actually worth watching. So if you want to watch this stream, save the link now. If not, who gives a shit in that case? So we will start with Proud Flurf. Then we will go to TBR. We will finish off with Sacred. I'll say one quick thing before fucking off and eating some supper and then going to bed. So Proud Flurf, say what you got to say and get the fuck out.
Good thing I made my notes. So first things first, of course, Red, we do defend you. If anyone ever says your images or your videos come from NASA, we shut that shit down because we take pride in knowing that you do your own research, as you take your own pictures and you do all of that on your own without anyone's help, assistance, legwork. So definitely we have made that point. We could avoid a lot of this conversation, a lot of this back and forth confusion when we say ideology and when we say thoughts and things like that. If you guys would just come to the space, like we talk about this on a daily basis, as well as on a weekly basis, to have the conversation, not to debate. When you guys met us, it became a, oh, let's debate. Or this isn't a proper platform to debate. And it's like, yo, we just want to talk about it. Why does it always have to be a you're right, you're wrong, a format of the sort? A lot of the conversation, we could have gotten down to some of the parts that you guys don't understand about us a long time ago. I also do want to say, yes, when you guys started this in 2000, there were a lot of toxic flat earthers and it was a lot of toxic thought process around the ideology of flat earth. It was not necessarily a fun place to be in or to conversate on, especially if you wanted to talk about science. So yes, we are not them. It's not that anymore. And it's 2023. If anybody is still talking about this, you got to understand it's for a reason. We have a reason to talk about this as well as you guys. Last thing I want to say, flat is not a shape. Flat Earth Fridays, fuck with us. Check us out on Twitter. Thanks, Ray.
TBR, say what you gotta say.
Oh, I guess that it's been reasonably covered. Sacred, the point is, if you do want to continue to do these, and if you want to get better at your space and everything else, try to let some of this roll off your back. If everybody just agreed with you, there'd be absolutely no reason for doing this or caring about how well you do it. Like I have to talk to people all the time and convince them of, that what I'm presenting to them, in a business perspective is the right thing. And that doesn't always come, that's not always easy. Sometimes you actually have to work at learning new skill sets. And this isn't a bad one to learn. So if you want to continue doing them, and I suggest you should, take some of the criticism that we're giving and learn from it. And I'm a little frustrated by her implication that somehow or another you guys are unique, because I've heard a lot of stuff, even in the short times that I've been interacting with you, that are very, very toxic from flat earthers, including you a couple of times. And you one day, for instance, and this is just apropos of nothing, one day in one of the spaces I got very upset. You were trying to make it sound like I needed to read this scientific paper that you had posted, but every other one of your flat earthers that had spoken clearly hadn't read a damn thing about the paper. But the onus was all on me. I had to read this paper, and I knew you were mischaracterizing it. Neither here nor there, and I'm almost sorry that I brought it up. My point in the end of this is, if you want to do better, and I think maybe you do, then take some of the criticisms that are being brought up here and learn from them, use them, and you'll do better next time if you want to do it. That's all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, TB. I appreciate it. And yeah, Sacred, you now have the mic. Say what you gotta say, then get the fuck out.
So yeah, I wish TB was still in here so I could reply to that. It wasn't that I wanted him to read a whole paper. I just presented a scientific paper that was criticizing the globe Earth construct. And everybody in that space heard me do the presentation. TB was a little bit tipsy. Don't know where he was at. I think he said he was at the bar. And he came in and I asked him about it to see if he wanted to comment. He said, no, I didn't hear the presentation. So I asked him, just go look at some of the tweets. There's like 3 or 4 tweets. I took a few clips of the actual scientific paper of the points that there was like 40 of them and only clipped like 4 or 5. And it was a peer reviewed paper. And I said, hey, go take a look at that. And so that way you can comment intellectually. I don't want to hear your opinion on something that you don't know what we're talking about, being that you're a little tipsy and you showed up to the space late. He didn't want to do that. So I muted him and he got mad. That's what happened. Literally, that's all. So yeah, we cover stuff like this. This is why we're different. And TB even says it. We even got a whole clip of him saying in the debate, you guys are unique. I don't think that he's dishonest. So I don't know why he's saying that, why he thinks that we're unique when he the one that said he thinks I'm unique. So that's a little bit weird to me, but that's neither here nor there. Everything is about respect. I approach every conversation with respect. I give the energy that's given. If you guys say, hey, Sacred, I don't really agree with that. Here's my reason why. You are not going to hear me call you stupid. You can go to my page. Anytime you see a word coward, I'm literally replying to somebody, why are you calling me a coward if you're not here? So this is an example of me just approaching every conversation with a positive mindset, because I know that you can't play with people on the internet. So respect is earned, not given, although I do end up giving it first and I get the energy that I get back. I do appreciate that we found a little bit of a common ground, but Rez, I will also say too that actions speak louder than words. I'm going to hold you to this, that you're going to be honest, but we did have a few instances when discussing certain ideas from people with, frequencies and things like that. And I feel like you didn't take a position that would that said that, hey, I made a mistake. It sounded like that you was kind of making an excuse with what Biggest Mike did earlier today. Now today you said, hey, no, this is the truth, this is what I did. Now that may be just a different perspective, but I respect how you handled it today, like being honest, because that is the most important thing. And that's why I exist on this platform, is to provide honesty or expose dishonesty. So I'm going to hold you to what we agreed to today. I'm going to erase everything that we did in the past, right? But yeah, I'm gonna assume that we're gonna move forward in an honest manner. If I'm wrong about something, I'm gonna grow from it and I'm gonna admit to it. And I hopefully that you do the same. So shout out to y'all in the mentions, y'all in the listeners. I appreciate y'all rocking with us for about 3 hours. I know it's getting late, so I'm about to slide over here and recharge my vibranium AI battery. You know how I get down. Got to download a little bit more information about the real shape or dimension of the Earth, which is level. Flat Earth Fridays, level heads. I see y'all. Appreciate all the Reds minions, and we out. Gang shit.
Okay. Yes. So anyway, like I said, Sacred, we will start from fresh. Let's try to not engage in ad homs. Let's not go real life. Let's not do any of that, high schooly bullshit that's actually not going to benefit anyone, and it's most especially not going to benefit the actual conversation. So guys, once again, this stream is going bye-bye. If you want to save it, do it now. Otherwise, who the fuck cares? What I am going to say is this: when it comes to Slice Barkane's video, Slice Barkane is perfectly free to have his opinion on how the debate went, and his criticisms of Sacred, I'm going to say, are valid. And I'm going to say that I agreed with most of it. But we also have to keep in mind that I honestly do not give a shit, because even if the Flat Earth moderator, Sacred's moderation was complete dog shit. Let's just say it was complete dog shit. I don't care. I don't care, because here's the ultimate goal of this, is to just have the debate. If the Flat Earther cannot hold himself to the actual conversation, if he has to bring up Satanism and numerology and his hate boner for Dr. Fauci, that just shows that he has nothing to go on when it comes to this flat earth conspiracy theory. So in reality, it didn't matter. It honestly didn't matter if Sacred did a good job or a bad job. I mean, this is a flat earth debate. You get what you get. So I think from here, though, even though in my opinion it didn't matter, I think what's going to happen from here is Sacred is going to make a few changes in the future. Sacred is going to adopt some changes. He's going to apply some changes. He's going to be more clear with my potential opponents as to what is expected and where it will be held and so on. And we'll see what happens. We will just have to see what happens there. But I promise you this, that I will be calling out flat earthers every single fucking day they decide to pipe up to a debate. I will be challenging them every single fucking day to back their shit up in an actual structured and moderated debate. And that moderator will be Sacred. And that means that with the moderator being a flat earther, the flat earther that I'm challenging will have no excuse when it comes to the moderation. He'll have no excuse. He won't say, or he can't say that, oh no, they're all going to be biased against me. I'm going to be at a disadvantage and blah, blah, fucking blah. It's not going to happen. And I fully expect Sacred to call that shit out when a flat earther makes that excuse. I have zero doubt that Sacred will be calling him out if they were to make that type of excuse. I will hold him to it. So we'll see what happens with future debates. We'll see if they're willing to step up to the plate. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated every step along the way. I literally challenge flat earthers to a debate almost every single fucking day. Even though it took years the last time to get someone onto a debate platform, let's hope that we have an easier time this time, given the fact that we have a flat earther as a moderator. So with that, I'm going to say thank you all for watching. It's been great. It's been fun. It's been real. Again, hoping for more debates in the future. So yeah, with that, take care. Have fun. Good night. And bye-bye. PC Master Race.